ケルシーが誰にも話さなかったエピソードを聞きたいか？ケルシーが誰にも話さなかったエピソードを聞きたいか？ケルシーが誰にも話さなかったエピソードを聞きたいか？
Khoa! Chat, you're in a new skin. Overlay has never picked up watch streaks, funnily enough. It's ugly. What do you mean? Also, it does, however, it is currently. Wait, it currently does not have this thing. Wait, let me give it this thing. This will help. Where does it end? Yeah, of course, yes. The YouTube things did not work. We're testing out the other type of chat. Yeah, it has a low. I feel like it should have a bigger. What's it now? Like stroke on the, like an outline on the text. In the preview, it looks like it has way more of an outline on the text. I don't know why it's so. I don't know why it's so small on the actual thing.
ケルシーが誰にも話さなかったエピソードを聞きたいか?
I think it's a very thin outline on the text. It should be thicker. I don't know why it's not thicker. Interesting. I would always have the background on it anyway, like I have on the old one as well, or the previous one. I have a feeling we have to share chat with YouTube now. It's just kind of nicer when it's just everyone's in the one box, you know? Instead of having two boxes. What happened to be smart, stay apart? Why they're so rude to the other chat. You're the more active one anyway, Twitch. You bury them. So rude. What does this one look like? I think if I change it, I think it resets everything. Again, I believe I could also give it custom CSS. Does this any change anything? Does that make it any well? Oh wait, I turn that off first. Let's try this one. I can't find an option to actually increase just the outline on the text, funnily enough. It's a little funny that I'd have to do that through like custom CSS if I want to. Slandered everywhere. It is funny how now it does indeed have to say glitter Chen sad. Also a little funny how why does it have a understroke before it? Yeah, we will be. I'll probably try to watch the Enfield thingy live on Friday. Most likely. I changed the settings, it has now deleted you, chat. Well, you returned it instantly. Nice. Trying to also make him the same size. Fly him out. That's slightly bigger. Yeah, well, so I tried to turn off the badges. Oh, also right now it's doing this thing where it's actually pushing. Never mind, this style pushes the badges like more to the right, which is silly. This one isn't as good. Also, this one starts cutting off your names. That's no good. That's why we don't use that one. It's ass. What does this one look like? I feel like the Twitch, probably the one that's mimicking Twitch, is the best one. Yeah, because I tried to, you can turn off like some of the badges and whatnot, like what it shows, but not, you can't turn off like the self-selected badge or whatever. Which is silly. Okay, this one, okay, well this one has a bigger outline on it, doesn't it? Yeah, this has a thicker outline on it. Yeah, this one looks better. Okay. It has a thicker outline than the first one did. It's like, it's Twitch-ish, but it has thicker outline on the text, and the text is slightly larger, I think, as well. Ask people to turn off their badges. I mean, obviously, the badges were there on the other Twitch chat as well. I don't know, for some reason they just were, like, less intrusive. I don't know how. T2, T3 subs can now post GIFs. The hell? That does sound horrible. Terrifying. Oh, wait, oh, but wait, this one doesn't, oh, this one doesn't, however, show, this one doesn't show, no, I turned it off? Never mind, wait. I turned off show viewer platform icon accidentally. I think. How? Paid chatter badge. You also have a sub badge. Okay, now the viewer icon. Okay, now the platform icon is back. You have to have the platform icon. I believe, like, actually sort of for Twitch TOS. The platform icon has to be there. Used to be that you couldn't combine chats at all, and then they changed it. Now you just have to indicate who's on YouTube and who's on Twitch, which just means having the icon there. I tried to find like various, or look at some combined chat options for overlay. You know, most of them are a little bit like kind of like whatever, like a bit much like it's just like I said, well, huh? Just enjoy segregate. If I enjoyed segregation, I would keep you fully segregated like in the old chat. Which is still here. However, it looks a little fucked up now. Oh, it's just missing the background, I think. No, there is like an extra... What the fuck? It's like doubled up somehow. The hell? What happened to it? Oh, it's because I clicked on the wrong thing. Right? Yeah, this is the old one. Yeah, this is the old one. This one just makes everyone look consistent. I actually kind of specifically prefer not this one where it's like, other than like the font could be kind of like nice on the other one. I guess. We hate change. That is true. Chat does hate change. Like they could, the font could be slightly thinner, maybe. I think that's the only thing, which I could possibly figure out how to change at some point, but I can't be able to do it right now. I do have. I have to copy over the chat background. When we go to game, you have no background right now. Where the fuck is it? Not there. Why are you pink? Oh, well, for YouTube, it randomly selects the color for you. That's the fun part. Because Twitch, you can select colors for your names. YouTube doesn't have that. So when it's a combined chat like this, then it just selects a color for you. The dark blue is crazy. Why is it so dark blue? Why is it so dark blue? I mean, that's just... I guess you can make the same color on Twitch as well. Probably no one uses it for a reason. Chat the genetics lore. It's a worrying way to put it. I do wish the text was slightly thinner. I can try and, I guess, fuck with the CSS that I have. look like my custom CSS. I don't think my CSS is even doing anything. I'm resetting you again. Does it change anything? It doesn't change the look of it. No, it didn't. Never mind. The fuck? Wait. Confusion. Well, now it's back. I guess I'll just see. I thought I changed something, but maybe I didn't. I thought I added more outline to the chat, but maybe I didn't. You do get voided every time I update it, yes. Because it has to reload, obviously, so you get fucking blasted into the void. I could also make you larger if I wanted to. It does. No, this does change it, right? Yeah, it does. I think. So interesting. Look. I am confusion. I'm looking at the preview for the chat. It doesn't look good. Sometimes it looks different. For just a second there, it looked slightly different when I had CSS on or CSS off. Also, here's the CSS. I was looking at the wrong thing, first of all. Alright. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, because indeed, I do have some custom CSS here that adds more outline. Not that it looks that different. It's classic tech start of stream tech BS shenanigans. Also, it's slightly cut off. Why is it 7? No, never mind. I thought 7TB was cut off slightly for a moment there. It isn't. It's fine. I'll leave it like that for now. Maybe it can be adjusted later, or off stream or something if I figure out some little tweaks to it. But I just want to try it because it would be nice to just have both chats in one thing. It just kind of makes chat a smoother existence. A more consistent, a more concentrated hive mind of activity. You know? What the fuck am I doing? I don't need my browser for anything, do I? No, we just go read. We should just hop right in. Hop right in, he says. It's been 20 minutes, but you know. I think 2 hive minds are better than 1. No. That goes across the point of a hive mind. It completely defeats the point. Come on. It's in the name, hive mind. Shaking my head. Luckily, I don't have to go into archives or anything. I can still open the event page. I still have some of these? Oh, I had some of these still. What the heck? Okay. Oh, now you are green. Indeed you are. Maybe that's part of the CSS or something. Might be. Now I'm wondering, why does it have an underscore before the emote name? Is that a thing that YouTube just does for all emotes? Maybe it is. Last day reading? Pretty much, yeah. Thank you for the tier 1, Sammy. I don't know why I said tier 1. I never say tier 1, I just say thank you for the sub.
Glitch for freak, glitch for freak.
Thank you also for the 2 months also. But then, haha. Can't resist the just for you 30% off a sub. Holy. Alright, I guess there is like some kind of... I feel like they're constantly happening now. The like, oh, some kind of sub discount thing going on. I think there's another one going on, like, well, apparently right now, maybe. Or there's like another one coming up at least. Maybe that one was actually just for you and not for many people. And those obviously still don't come up on overlay for whatever reason. They never do. It's a little funny. However. Furry woman. Can't believe she exists in story. No way. She's not just on banner. Also, actually, is this now up on... I'll close that. I don't need that. Is this now up on the lengths? Because your best Italian accent. I'm not sure you want to listen to it. All that, you know, for such a long time. Where is it? No. Story set. Is it here? Black Forest, Fantasy, Castilian, Beyond here, Lightspark, and Obscure, See You Soon, Crossing. Okay, right there. Okay, yeah, it's actually almost the exact same lesson length as See You Soon. Not that there's a huge amount of difference between the lengths for the vignette events or the story collection events, so you know. Oh yeah, because the cursor does indeed now follow. Even if I'm in a browser, the cursor follows. Wish we could get Irene. Real. This, however, is a completely... Who? I'd at least seen this design, because obviously people posted the new furry. Like, you know, 6 months ago, I mean. But who? Also, Namiya, I assume. Maybe. At least the eyes are quite Namiya type round. Future unit. If it is a Namiya. If it is Namiya, then there's like a decent chance, I guess. Where should I go? Red Wine Murder. With Leon Tutso. Oh, I guess I can... Slash marker. I don't think I even used my slash markers from my last reading stream. It doesn't matter. I can't be bothered. You hear something? It's a busy street. It's all something. Okay, let me check if I... Does any button make text go forward? What I'm worried about is the smell. I don't think any button goes forward. No. I was hoping maybe. No. No button go forward. I have to actually click on mouse. How terrible. Goods got all packed up and stashed in the cellar. Shouldn't be any smell at all. Well, if you find anything loose, I could go for a taste. I don't even think about it. They say this stuff's the cream of the crop. That scent is making me want to quit this job. What is it, like cheese? So they just talk about cheese? You want to get working? Or want to quit work here? What's the difference? Either way, we're stuck roaming the street, keeping watch and hoping nobody comes looking for trouble. That rib pain from last night ain't washing out. Once we get paid, I'm buying a new coat for my ride. To yourself, I'm saving my share. Company's gonna need more guys for later. What's with the look? No one else seen it really is a goddamn miracle. Turn a Sicilian like you into a responsible businessman. This fat Casimirian pays way more than Antonio ever did, right? How was I supposed to know running a taxi company had all these costs? Alright, yeah, they became taxi. I forgot. They became taxi drivers. For a moment, at least. I mean, driving a taxi is a lot more exciting than patrolling this street, though. What kind of dipshit with too much time on his hand would try to mess up this red wine championship anyway? I got nothing. Forget about it. We're done with the street. Let's head back to the theater. Forget about it. Thing only, like, New York Italians say, by the way. Oh yeah, I forgot we have settings. Well, okay, settings. It's just text size, which, you know, fair enough. Yeah, they really. I mean, that is the one thing that we still, I guess, didn't get with PC was just text speed. Which is a little funny. Like, huh? Oh, log does have more settings? Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? How does that work? Oh, but this is right. This is for the log. Okay, it doesn't, like, normal reading doesn't change. It's just for the log. Yeah, okay. So not terribly sure, but you know why the Kazimierzian come to us with this event security job anyway? Beats me. Maybe referral from some kind soul. Not too late. I kind of don't know. We had technical shenanigans at the start. Hello, Fat Victorian. Alright, you can click to advance in log now? I guess that is a new thing, yeah. You can technically you can read fully from log if you want to, if you prefer this style. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may occupy a moment of your time. The lighting in the theater is almost a little too bright, as if trying to light up every face in the building. A well-dressed businessman stands in the center of the stage, lightly tapping the glass of red wine in his hand. The crisp note is not loud, but it still gets the guests to quiet down. And we're all looking forward to the wine and the music and to the moments ahead that will be worth remembering. But we'll get to that. First, I'd like to say a few words. Hosting the Red Wine Championship here in this city means so much to us. Novo's scene is a promise of order. Ever since we selected this place for our competition, the promise has been proven beyond doubt. There's wine snobs. Wine takes time, and time demands stability. I'm sure they made loads of wine, you know, in Syracuse before this as well, just fine. It's too important to, you know. The Kazimierzian, first of all, not Victorian, Kazimierz. Kazimierzian businessman continues on once the applause dies down. He talks of the year of the vintage, how it was made, and of course, intercity cooperation and logistics systems. The riveting topic to be hearing at a wine championship. Logistics. Every word falls into place with nary a syllable wasted. Naturally, without the support of Novo City's City Hall, this championship might never have come together so quickly. But that's why it's called of course it's called a championship. He's from Kazimierz. It is our honor to be working with you, Mayor Bellone. Him. Novo City welcomes all foreign partners willing to abide by our city's laws. So long as you're here to do respectable business, nothing will stand in your way. Of course, of course. I'm not here to flatter you. In Novo City, I have no fear of the familiar trying to get a hand in my business. No need to search for any hidden meanings in the deals I sign. Such clarity in business is truly priceless. Sounds like you have a very positive opinion of our city. Exactly. That is why we wish to bring the finest wines here alongside some much-needed cooperation. In that case, we find ourselves honored. We're still waiting here. When are we getting started? Yeah, I want to see how good Kazimierzian wine really is. Kazimierzian wine? I wouldn't trust in that. A few rude voices force their way out of the crowd and begin to spread throughout the audience, but under the bright lights, the businessman's face show no signs of displeasure. I suppose I've drawn on too long and tested our guests' patience. Then I would like to invite Novo City's famed orchestra to the stage. Their performance shall serve as the opening ceremony for the championship finals. I do like how I can have the hand peeking out the corner. As the lights dim, Jarek takes the opportunity to accompany Leontuzzo off the stage to appreciate the performance from some nearby corner. Leontuzzo, however, does not look to the stage. With no glaring lights to blind him, he can see the man calmly walking up to him. Already? Me dispatch. My associates aren't used to this sort of thing, so they got a little excited. It's fine, there'll probably be plenty more events like this coming to a Novo City. Guess I'd better teach them to behave soon, then. And who might this gentleman be? Signor Demetri Bellone, a local wine merchant also participating in the competition. Just a wine merchant, nothing else, you know. Your reputation precedes you. The young, promising head of Saluzzo Vino. Oh, right, yeah, they did take over the... they did take over Saluzzo Wines. Face red, heart shape. Rough. A pleasure, though there's one thing I've been meaning to ask. Everyone is here tonight just for the tasting session, right? Of course, of course. Question of a wine's quality is ultimately answered by the tongue. Good. I was worried this championship would be decided by whose background was cleaner or who had the nicer story to tell. The story behind a wine is important, but if the wine cannot stand on its own 2 feet, then even the prettiest words will not prop it up for long. You're right. I'm sure the victor will be crowned basically solely on its flavor. Alberto forever tormented. Deserved. Sounds like you won't be disappointed even if your wine doesn't make it to the finals. You're a funny man, Mayor Bellone. You look the very picture of a businessman now. Were you hoping I wouldn't be? He still kind of looks like Mafia. I mean, his outfit didn't actually change, you know? I've heard Kashmirchans have a great faith in fair competition. Eager to see it for myself tonight. I have the feeling the real results will make themselves known very quickly. Sounds like I have something to look forward to. Witness a fair competition in Novo City. City no longer bound by the old rules. Why, that's the entire reason we're here. It is funny to, by the way, just think about how long we've had Demetri's sprite and the Rhodes Island infection monitor has been there since we first saw him. But it took 2 entire Sirakusana events and a vignette and a story collection for him to actually, you know, be playable and presumably have some dealing with Rhodes Island. If he even does. Who knows, it could be one of those situations where like he's playable but he doesn't actually interact with Rhodes Island like much at all. Monitor isn't from RI. It looks exactly like an RI infection monitor. Unless we have like new information that for some reason isn't. Even though it looks exactly like one. Also, were they complaining about the wine smell? Wine smells kind of good. I thought it would be like, you know, something actually that smells nasty. You hear something? You asked me that when we were heading out the door. What could be making the noise down in the cellar? I said someone's stealing wine. Is all the wine they got for the competition? Just as one row? Yeah, I guess the guests. Guess the guests get to drink the entire entries once it's over. You'd have to be missing a few screws to try and steal some right now. So can we drink some? Yeah, sure, let me pour you a glass. Of course we can't, idiota. Shame. You said you wanted to try some, right? If you pour yourself a glass, I won't snitch. As soon as the words leave his mouth, footsteps ring out from between some shelves around the corner. Is onion? Can you just buy them at a local pharmacy? Yeah, just carry that all of your local pharmacies. Also, just supermarkets as well. Well-stocked supermarkets. A Cabernet with a hood obscuring his face lowers his head as he walks through the shelves, heading for the stairs leading up. Soon enough, he has left the cellar. I forgot they have this sprite with their eyes wide open. He's gone. Probably didn't hear us. From that distance, he wouldn't have even seen us. Long horns like that gotta be a Cabernet. Figures with the orchestra. Why'd an orchestra guy be down here at a time like this? They're going on in a minute, right? They're going on in a minute, right? Maybe just calming his nerves. You got your own tics, you know? Every time you're holding your piece, you keep scratching at the safety with your nail. Gatsat, I ain't done that in years. Gambino shuts up the moment he hears more agitated footsteps. Alright, yeah, she's a Laythonian, isn't she? Is she? I think she is. Another Cabernet appears from the shadows, following the echoing footsteps of the orchestra member from earlier. She, too, quickly leaves the cellar. This time, both Capone and Gambino saw suspicion on the blonde girl's face. Hey, I know that ragazza. She's the daughter of the lady who runs the orchestra. Give me my security pass. When was the last time I saw this many Cabernet in Siracusa? I figured the whole orchestra is from Lithanian. What, you gonna say something like, just like the Sicilians? Nah, I was just thinking how Novo City is getting too crowded. Goranta, Cabernet, hell. If I came across an Aegir on the street, I wouldn't even bat an eye anymore. Those damn immigrants! I'm hoping for fewer strange-looking passengers through the door. Let's do one more lap around the cellar. The performance ought to be starting up there. He hates the immigrants. The orchestra takes the stage and the lights dim once more. The strings begin with restrained, gentle tones. Soon they are joined by the woodwinds. Though the melody can hardly be called brash, it serves as a vector to reel the notes in their most perfect forms. The audience lifts their glasses, slowly swaying them along to the music. Leontuzzo sits in the front row, watching his neighbor Demetri refuse yet another glass of red wine from an attendant. He doesn't drink on the job. You come to a wine tasting and don't taste the wine. I just don't have an appreciation for the smell of that Kazimierzian red wine. Frankly, I would not be. I would be inclined to agree. I would not trust Kazimierzian wine. You got here earlier than expected. I was invited, so I'm not allowed to drop by at the last second. Otherwise, it'll look like I'm back to my old habits. Aren't you in the same situation, Mayor Bellona? Whenever you say old habits, it always makes me feel like you're bragging about the progress you've made. I'll take that as a compliment. You know me. I was never any good at picking out the condemnations between the praise. Leontuzzo does not answer. He simply turns his head away from the stage and back toward Demetri, his eyes falling on the bow tie around his neck. It's been too long since they last met. He's not sure just how much of Demetri's current business-like demeanor is sincere. You look like a real businessman today, Demetri. Not to your liking? There are things to my liking, but that doesn't mean I'm not worried. What about Nuovo Volsini? Is it going the way you hoped it would? What about the city and the people who scurry around it? It's growing as I expected. The same as you ever were. You talk about order, but your eyes are fixed on the people. Hey, my hands are clean. What, scared I'm gonna take something from you? What scares me is you treating the city like your kitchen table. Give it a flip and everything on top will come crashing down to the ground. Then you better watch me closely, Leon. The closer you stick to me, the harder it'll be for me to mess up. You just want him to be around you. It's like, come on, get close to me. Come on, come on. The Kazimierzian businessman beside them is clearly in a good mood. He stands up as the performance ends, lightly applauding as he signals the attendants to prepare the next step. I have to say, I love how you Nuovo Volsini's, I guess, yeah, Nuovo Volsini's know when to applaud and when to stay quiet. It's a rare thing. Most places, people make a ruckus when they should be silent and stay quiet when they should be clapping up a storm. And probably at the Kazimierzian night competitions, yeah. I'd like to thank the orchestra for their marvelous performance. I'd also like to invite tonight's judge to come and witness our competition. A musician from Lithanian, guest of this fair city, Frau Paola. As a woman unaffiliated with any wine dealer or familia, I think there's no one more suited for the job. The conductor on the stage gives a graceful nod to the audience, before being guided by an attendant to the table of red wines at the front. Just a normal-looking Lithanian. Like, generic Lithanian. Buonasera, everyone. I know only how to play music and conduct an orchestra, so I'm not very good at offering praise or pretty descriptions, but since I'm judging the finals, I promise... You're the judge? You don't know anything about wine, but you're the judge? I will sample them all with care and then say what I feel as I drink them, truthfully. That's exactly why we chose you. Pretty descriptions? No, what we need more are honest assessments. He lifts his hand, beckoning the attendants to fill 3 wine glasses from 3 decanters. Now then, let's begin. The 3 finalists come from different wineries and different terroirs, and they each have their own ambitions. Rules are simple. No looking at the labels, no listening to any stories. Just pure flavor. If you will, Frau Paola. The tall musician nods, a serious look on her face as she lifts the first glass. She sniffs, sips, swallows, and stops. He falls over. The first glass sticks strictly to the standard. The aroma is unassertive, doesn't rush the mouth. The fruity flavor is front-loaded and quickly restrained. You can tell that it avoids making any mistakes, not letting any one flavor linger for too long. All in all, a harmonious package. Wine I could offer to guests without worry. It's also known as boring. Second glass is, very much like the locals. Alcohol makes it itself known quickly, but not in an irritating way, without any sharp sensations. It's a little bold when entering the mouth, with a direct sourness, the type that wouldn't ask for your opinion beforehand. These descriptions are kind of pretty descriptions. I thought she was like, oh no, I don't know, I don't have good descriptions. It is the third glass that Paula savors the slowest. She takes a sip, but does not immediately swallow, letting the red wine linger on the tip of her tongue for a moment. The third glass... There's no brashness at the beginning, but the layering and the structure are very clear. It's not a crowd-pleasing sort of wine. It's as if it doesn't care if you enjoy it or not. It's not going to try and win you over. It knows its own path and will walk it to the end. Has attitude. An attitude I happen to like. Tzadak turns to the audience and raises his hand as if he were already standing atop the podium. Now, Frau Paula, if you would pick which of the 3 glasses you believe is most worth remembering. The third, naturally. Tzadak is practically already reaching out for the bottle behind the 3rd glass. His voice is more excited than before, but he maintains his composure. Well, I think we all heard her. This wine is... You'd best check the label again. Otherwise, things might end up rather embarrassing for you. Pardon? Tzadak freezes. He slowly looks down at the bottle, but the moment he gets a clear look at the label, the smile on his face dies. But only for a moment so short that obviously almost nobody can react. Once it passes, his rictus grin is plastered back onto his face. It seems tonight's first surprise arrived earlier than I expected. Like you said, no leaning on stories, just the wine itself. Really must wonder though, how did a bottle of Golden Prairie transform into a wine that isn't on the list of finalists? Oh, I guess even Kazimir's legendary business management systems aren't free from little mistakes like registration errors. Haha, yes, just a little mistake. So I'll give a warm round of applause to the winner, Stalut Savino. But wait, was he not part of the finalists? Your wine has earned our most stringent yet most objective praise. Also, they had one judge? They had one judge? The most subjective wine competition ever, maybe? Grazie mille. I'm glad the words fair competition still apply tonight. It's a good thing for everyone involved. A good thing indeed. If the winner were always predetermined, then business would be dreadfully boring. The very reason I came to Nuovo Vicino was to get away from boring business. Let us toast to the champion, a local winery, and to this fair city. Salute. See, no problem, corporal. The attendants begin refilling their guests' glasses. Applause rings out once more enthusiastic than before. Applause that includes Leon Tutso's clapping. Not going to toast me, Leon? You know my palate isn't as refined as yours. Would you introduce your winning wine before the toast? If you insist. This isn't a wine that needs much introduction. It's not trying to impress anyone or prove anything with the first sip. Most suited for when the dinner table's almost cleared out and most things worth saying have been said, but you're not quite ready to leave yet. That's when you notice there's still a glass of this left. Is that a reference to this being a story collection, so like an epilogue to 2 big events? It'll be your final safeguard, making sure your words don't spill out onto the floor. It'll remind you of the past and make it easier to reach an agreement. Think this is exactly the wine you need, then it's already done its job. This wine has some grand ambitions. So it does, like what Paula said. It follows the path of its choosing, without caring whether you like it or not. Since it chose this road, I've got nothing to say about whether I like it. Demetri smiles, but does not answer. He simply raises his glass, giving it a gentle clink against Leontuzzo's. Before the clink can fade away, a light, incongruent cough makes itself heard from the other side of the stage. Paula's hand stops in midair, the glass between her fingers trembling ever so slightly as the wine leaves irregular streaks on the glass. Sorry. She wants to finish speaking, but all her subconscious lets her do is steady her breathing. Her second cough comes out sharp. She tries to lower her voice, but she can't cover it up completely. The blonde girl who is always by her side is the first to notice the look on her face. Paula lifts her hand to prop herself up against the table, but she can no longer stand steady. Poisoned! The glass falls from her hand, letting out a muffled thump as it falls onto the carpet. Maybe she actually was actually poisoned? She falls forward, her body unable to support itself. Some cry out, some rise to their feet, and some reflexively take a step back. Before the attendants can rush to the scene, she has already collapsed by the table, no longer breathing, her lips taking on an odd hue under the lights. The blonde girl babbles things like Paola and help her. The smile instantly disappears from Demetri's face. Tzadak stays standing but does not speak. With the flash of chaos now over, the theater sinks into a surreal silence. Moments ago, they were toasting things like fairness, dignity, and victory. But now, nobody reaches for the wine on the table. They sabotaged Demetri's wine. You need to upgrade a base facility to get the other support unit, I believe. Isn't that where it's from? This is what you get for getting generic NPC art. RIP. The disturbance did not last long. Thanks to the mayor and some municipal staff among the attendees, the situation is quickly reined in. Many people simply stand there, unsure if they should move closer or leave. Please remain calm, everyone. The medics are already on their way. Before we clean up, I would like to ask you all to work with your security staff and not act on your own. Mayor Bellona, I must emphasize to both you and our guests that the wines underwent a strict auditing process. None of us wish to see anything like this happen, but we can't allow rumors to spread. Banter stands to the side. He does not answer immediately. He looks at the table the attendants have moved away from the rest, and then at Demetri, who still stands in the same spot. Demetri says nothing. He does not approach, nor back away. He gently puts the wine glass he's holding down, which lets out the slightest of clinks as its foot meets the table. The noise prompts Charek to continue. Something unexpected happened at the wine tasting. The label on the wine bottle does not match our registry. I don't believe this is an act of malice, but under the present circumstances, anything outside the standard process needs a clear explanation. It does look a little bad, doesn't it? Does sound a little suspicious. Like, oh, we sneaked a bottle into the finalists and now the judge is dead. But also everyone else is drinking the wine as well, so like... The crowd's gazes wash over the scene like a wave before inevitably landing on Demetri. If you're waiting for me to explain, then I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint. I'm as shocked as anyone else here that something like this could happen. As for the bottle of wine, I was only responsible for its flavor and getting it to the theater on time. Anything else is none of my business. You're the young, promising head of a winery, but also the young, promising head of a gang, aren't you? You might be uninvolved, but you have plenty of minions to get involved for you. According to many eyewitnesses, Frau Paula suddenly fell to the ground after taking another drink from the bottle of Saluzovino Red that mysteriously appeared. What sort of grudge was there between you two that led to this? Was it not enough that your wine won my championship? Did you want to ruin my business as well? Instant accusatory? Aren't other people drinking the wine as well? I guess it would just be with that one bottle, but... Or do your familiar bosses have your feuds and conspiracies in which you trample over us ordinary folk? Senior Charek, we do not know all the facts yet. Novosilny has its own procedures, and this incident will be investigated accordingly. Since it was a public incident, the police will be involved. Before they announce the results, nobody, neither individual nor body corporate, should be making premature statements. Nor body corporate. I guess that is technically, that's like grammatically can be correct, but it would make sense, you know, nor corporate body maybe would be a bit smoother. Naturally, of course. We also hope the truth will come to light quickly, otherwise people will lose trust in Kazimierz and Reds, perhaps even local Novosilny's Reds as well. Mayor Bellona, this is not a welcome guest at my red wine championship. I suspect any wine meat. And I would prefer not to hear street corner rumors about how Kazimierzian competition was drawn into familiar struggles. How we were powerless to resist, things like that. Surely you're aware that we businessmen of Kazimierz, along with our counterparts from Lithuania, Colombia, and nations even further afield, are only here in Novosilny because of what kind of promises you've made. Business. Zarek lowered his voice, but the reporters and cameramen invited to the venue to capture the championship seemed to have heard every word. Oh, I know the paparazzi! The cameras are flashing much more frequently than they were. Under their glare, Demetri steps forward. If you need me to comply with the investigation, I won't run and hide. We'll halt all activities until the results are in. Demetri, as I said, I am begging everyone to avoid any rash actions until after things have been cleared up. Is that rash? Well, I appear to be the prime suspect right now, so I will stay where I should stay and let the police do all the investigating they want. I ask that you do it all in accordance with the standard procedures you mentioned, Mayor Bellona. Right. I'll make the arrangements. Does City Hall still need time to send the police? No need to trouble them, then. My own hired security can escort Signor Bellona home. That sounds a little... Lantuzzo was looking at the red-haired Lupo's face earlier, trying to see if he could spot anything. The moment the wine glass fell to the floor, the smile on Demetri's face vanished. Now it has returned, just barely perceptible. But it's only a smile. Lantuzzo is not sure if he should interpret as, I won't embarrass you, I believe you can figure this out, or I made plans for this long ago. He just smiles because he can. Way too smug to be unrelated. That's just how he looks, man. That's just what his face is like, okay? He's smug. Before he can finish deciphering it, Demetri's led to the exit, flanked by Capone and Gambino. As he passes by, their gazes meet for the shortest of instants before they are separated. I realize Capone's nose is like a lot more, I don't know, rounded. His face is a lot more rounded than I thought it would be, you know? Seeing it from like this angle. The flashing lights of the reporters' cameras cascade across Demetri's face. Lantutsu instinctively turns away, composing himself before turning back to the foreigner who has seized his chance to pile on the pressure and demand more from him. I guess it was called, what, red wine murder or something? See, he's so angular here, but there in that little image, his face was so round. How'd you put it? I beg your forgiveness, Don Demetri. Did the rope chafe you? Nearly died trying not to laugh. He's the real power behind the Saluzos in Novolcini and the new Don of the Bellones. Kind of to show him a little respect. But it's so funny that the Saluzos have just been gutted, man. Not to mention the tip he gave us. Hell, can't even call it what a cash this big a tip. A Don, but he still got pulled into that foreign money man scheme. Think the Kazimierz pulled one over him? I'm telling you, I think he spiked that drink on purpose, just to get in the middle of all this. Remember when he dragged him out of the theater? Man was as cool as a cucumber. Wise guys like him who were born into the Familia, they're good at this kind of scheming. Used to it too. Who the hell knows, man? I don't give a shit. There's no Volsini, not Sicilian. You and I both know how stupid Dons can look when they fall from the top. Hey, you think those reporters got a photo of our taxi company's sign when we were taking him out of that place? Buy a paper tomorrow and check for yourself. Maybe they'll only get the Siciliano part of it. Now that'd be a joke. What, mad? Fine, I'll drop it. Nah, it's not that. I suddenly got the feeling like maybe Novolcini is still a Syracusan city. There's been a lot of change here, but in the end, maybe nothing's changed at all. Or maybe when you push something that's never changed down a new track, some other stuff's gotta start popping up. They murdered a... Okay, well, yeah, it's called the red wine murder. You know. Kind of forgot that halfway into the node. Kind of forgot that, alright, it's called the red wine murder. I guess there should be a murder about red wine. Anyway, now, whoever this is... Well, I mean, not really. It's just the next node. But I'm assuming she at least appears. It's going to be really funny if it's one of those where she appears for like 2 lines. Business acumen. Scusa, Bettina. I'd love to help you, but I'm running a small business here too, you know? Those bottles I got from you last time are still in my wine rack, gathering dust. Why not go ask at the corner store? Right, I'll go do that. Gracias, yo Paolo. I already asked, actually. Nobody wants any. Gotta move all this out of the way first. If I keep standing around here like a fool, I'll affect Zio Paolo's business. Small child, what, going around selling wine? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay, she appears right. She instantly crossbow out, ma'am. Also, you do not look like you're from Syracuse, but I get you're probably not. Careful, that was close. Here, hold it tight down. Thank you, signorina. Man, this is heavy. No wonder a little kid like you couldn't carry it right. What's in this? Oh, Verdi. Verdi? She's eager to be playable. She kind of does look like it, doesn't she? With the crossbow and everything as well. I'm Bettina, and this is from the Verdi winery where my nonna works. The winery's got decades of history behind it. Would you like to buy a bottle, signorina? Do you have an alcohol selling license, small child? I see. Bettina, right? I guess it's fate I've bumped into you, so let's make friends. I'm Tosio. Here, my card. Wow, cool, a business card. Sorry, I don't have one. Huh? Oh. Kazimierz Golden Prairie Wine, huh? Kazimierz Golden Prairie Winery, Novolcini branch. Sales representative? I'm betting that before long it'll say senior relationship manager. But that's the thing. I'm afraid we're competitors, so I won't be buying your wine. No, you could buy your competitor's wine to, you know, get to know how their wine is. If you mind scooching out of the way a little, Miss Bettina, I have a great deal to make with Signor Paolo. Yeah, I guess Kazumeshin, yeah. You just arrived in Novo Cine, you've already talked the locals into some huge deals. Excellent work. Come, Tosia, today we give up our top sales rep for the welcome feast she deserves. So I guess Golden Prairie is... Well, I guess this is Kajimir's Golden Prairie? Because it was Golden Prairie wine also that I thought was like Demetri's wine, huh? She does also have RI color, yes. Yeah. She does. Again. You're too kind, Wujek Kasarek. You've been busy getting the Red Wine Championship ready, so of course you didn't have time for dinner. I just hope I haven't been in much trouble. Not at all. I'm a lucky man, getting an experienced sales girl to join us at Golden Prairie. But I heard you were doing well at the Krzyzewski Domek department store. Why in Novo Cine all of a sudden? Fucking Polish man. It's a long story. Let me guess, it's something to do with that Silverlands Pegasus corruption case that's got Cavalierki all busy lately. All a bus. Already, a buzz. Okay, it was Z's. Ucharek lowered his voice. The mention of the cases, Tosia jerking her head upwards. How did you... I was told that the GCC sent agents to Krzyzewski Domek and took one of your managers a few days ago. Your old manager, even. She says no hiding anything from you. She took good care of me, but one of her relatives, Silverlands Pegasus. Corruption in the Pegasus? That seems like a scam? It was a point of pride, but once the GCC started poking around, whenever they can't directly move against the Adeptus Spuriality, they take the people around them for questioning. Also fucking... I just kind of like started with Sprawi, and then I just kind of... And yeah, it's close enough. Fucking Polish, man. More and more people getting involved in the case. Some poor souls get the entire book thrown at them, even though anyone wise can see they're totally innocent. If normal folk like us get pulled into this kind of trouble, how are we supposed to resist giant like the GCC? There you go. So I thought I'd better come here and expand. Tosia, Golden Prairie would not have grown this large in Novo Cine without behind-the-scenes support from the GCC. When the big shots show some initiative, want to expand their horizons, that is a good thing for business people like us. You're right. Let's not think too much about Cavalierki while we're here. Just keep your enthusiasm flowing and do a good job. When my business is growing, it's only good for you, no? And I'll thank you in advance, Wujek Select. Clever girl, I won't belabor the point then. I've already ordered the food, just need to know what you want to drink. Sorry for putting all that on you. Honestly, I'm not too good with handling wine. She's weak. Let me see. Oh, right, I'm looking for a certain brown-colored soft drink. I think it's a local Syracusan brand. Tastes like orange with a bit of bitterness. The hell? Do you mean Chinotto, signorina? I'm terribly sorry, but we don't carry that one. Where'd you even learn of that old beverage? Since we put out our soft drink line, the local brands have pretty much all died out. Oh. Not Coca. No, Coca-Cola doesn't taste like orange. Classic capitalism. Yes, kill all the local brands. It's a bug. Huh? Really? Did you forget our slogan, Tosia? Novo Cine, Vita Nuova. Leave the retro nostalgia to the Lethanians. They're cringe. Damn those Polish people. How about some zero-proof sparkling water? Why did you have to specify zero proof? Isn't sparkling water normally zero proof? Sure, let's go with that then. Big smile. Good. Oh, almost forgot. Come, I wanted to show this to you. It's a shelf display agreement? Not in Syracuse. Just a draft template. I was hoping to hear what our top sales representative thought before we deployed it. It's very clear on the criteria and the rewards are generous. There shouldn't be too many retailers who decline. But if they do accept, it means they can only display our products while the agreement is in force. Wouldn't an exclusivity clause like that create legal issues under local law? There's nothing in the new Urban Management Act that says we can't have one. The way I see it, those lupos with their heads full of dreams and faith won't see any issues with it. Tarek shrugs, a smile of victory on his face. But it's you frontline employees who will be talking to the retailers, not me. I'm eager to see how you do when the time comes, Tosia. Okay, this event is about a corporate takeover of all the brands in Novosini. Thank you for waiting. Your zero-proof sparkling water, signorina. It's so funny that they have to specify. Come, to Novosini and to Vita Nuova. Na zdrowie. I would never let you down, Wujek Zerek. Na zdrowie. Also didn't pronounce that correct either. I can't believe it's actually just about Polish people scamming the Italians. Oof, I'm stuffed. Chef selection. Seriously? Tiny portions and way too much fuss? Oh, they were at a fancy restaurant. Fancy restaurant. After shoving the last piece of pizza into her mouth, Tosia brushes the crumbs off her hands and continues her walk back to her palace alongside the night breeze. The street is lit up in vibrant colors by a chaotic mix of billboards, shining as bright as day. This nightscape is breathtaking, but it could not be more different from the Siracusa Tosia imagined. Shelf display agreement, more like shelf monopoly agreement. It's gonna get a whole lot of people fired, maybe even bankrupted, won't it? Like that kid from before. Once the agreement's signed, she won't be able to sell her wine, no matter how much legwork she puts in. It's got to be done. Those Victorians and Colombians aren't gonna let an opportunity this big slip by, even if we did. Just getting down to my local alcohol. Pick up some zero-proof water. Oh, it's you, the lady from this morning. How's it going? Managed to sell any? You're still carrying the same bottles, aren't you? Yeah. You're a really good saleswoman, right, Signora Tosia? Can you... Nope. Huh? I didn't even get to ask. You want me to teach you a trick or two, right? I can read it on your face. Anyway, no can do. No way. But why? The despondence and incomprehension on the girl's face forced a long sigh out of Tosia. How old are you, Bettina? I'm 10 next week. 10, huh? Alright, let me put this in a way you can understand. First of all, child labor. Listen, I know having to make a living at your age isn't easy. If things were different, I wouldn't mind helping you out. I only got to where I am today thanks to the help of others. A favor is an investment, not a cost. But here's the problem. There's only so much wine one Novosinian can drink in a day. Sounds like quitter talk. You're selling Verdi, I'm selling Golden Prairie. We're business rivals, enemies even. Of course, in a situation like this, some people would drop any cost-benefit analysis and choose to help a helpless little kid like you. But that's not me. The merciless, actually merciless businesswoman. Because I'm a worm with a heart of stone. With this face. Does this look like the face of mercy? No. The business world is a battlefield. Helping your enemy is just stabbing yourself in the back. I've set my mind on flying up the ranks and living the good life, and I'm not gonna go soft on my foe just because she's a kid. You got that? What a fucking psycho. It should. Where was the dong sound effect? Got it. Good. I'm off then. You keep at it. What a fucking sociopath. The hell? Was I too harsh on her? Can't blame me for it. That black-hearted uncle of mine is obviously trying to use pie-in-the-sky promises to trick me into doing his dirty work. I want to find my footing here. I don't have time to get involved in other people's business. But she's not crying, is she? Let's just turn around and get a quick look. Just one look. She's crying. Droops head as if grieving. Grabs hold of bridge railing. Stands on top of railing. Damn. As if about to jump. Whoa, 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 wait, don't just throw your life away like that. What? Goofy ass section, what the hell? Oh, made it. Good thing I got quick reflexes. Kids these days have no mental fortitude. I'll teach you, okay? Seriously, even when my performance was in the gutter, I was homeless and living under a bridge, eating thrown out fries. Things weren't that bad. You're young. You've got plenty of time ahead of you. As long as you're alive, there's hope. Even if things are hard now, you need to believe things will get better. Why are you looking at me like that? I think you misunderstood something, Signorina Tosia. I was trying to save Pane. Pane? Over there, on the other side of the railing. It's so naughty wandering off like that. Dog. You weren't trying to... thank goodness. I guess I looked real stupid trying to calm you down just now, worried as I was. And if you were trying to save it, you didn't need to go over the railing, you know? That's dangerous. But my arms aren't long enough. Woof woof. Alright, fine, out of the way. You better not bite me, pane. I'm assuming it's pane and not pain. Like a pane of glass. Sono molto grata, Bettina. If you hadn't brought my bambino back to me, why, I don't know what to do. We'll head back home now. Say ciao to Bettina, pane. Okay, ciao, signora Bianca. Ciao, pane. Dog. Huh, wait, aren't you gonna ask her? Ask her what? About the wine! I feel like getting sales through personal connections is rather high cost, low efficiency, but any port in a storm definitely beats starving. Didn't you help her find pane so she would buy your wine? Huh? Not to be did it out of the goodness of your heart. Am I misunderstanding something? Is your family not in big trouble? Does it not matter if this stuff sells? No, of course it matters. I just want to help sell the wine. None of those sales have been getting worse and worse lately, and if we can't make enough this month, the winery will have to close. What should I do? What should I do? You said you'd teach me. This girl is kind of funny though. I wasn't expecting the cold-hearted, stone-faced businesswoman, whoever was also at the same time, you know, a little goofy. Like, what do you mean you didn't save the dog to sell wine? Huh? You fucking insane? Are you stupid? What? When did I say that? You did say that. You did say that. Oh, I guess I did. I thought you were gonna... I'm not trying to wiggle out of what I said, but take a good look at your product. Cheap local wines like your Verde are the worst performers of the current market. Outdated production facilities, careless cost control, old-fashioned marketing, while Golden Prairie offers some better quality budget wines, and they're only half the price. Only a fool would pick the other option. The winery your nonna works for is doomed. My advice for him is to start looking for a new job sooner rather than later. But the adults all say there's no such thing as an unsellable product, only salespeople who can't sell it. I know Verde is hard to sell. Is it so bad not even you could sell it, Signorina Tosia? Yeah, exactly. Trick her and yeah, like... I bet even you couldn't sell it. First you trick me into giving you advice, then you go for a psychological tactic? You got moves. Trick? But I won't fall for it. I don't have to get mixed up in your problems to prove myself. I'm the last year's sales star at the Cruiser Domek department store and the future's top salesperson in Golden Prairie. There's nothing I can sell. That's right, absolutely nothing. Alright, since you've talked your way this far, allow me to teach you a thing or two. She's maybe gullible? She's actually kind of dumb? Why do they just call their wine organic? Are they dumb? So true, you should get hired. With my secret sales techniques, forget selling a few bottles, you'll be selling crates by the dozen. She successfully tricked herself. She gaslit herself into helping. The kid didn't have to say anything. Alright, tell me the story. Why is it you haven't sold a single bottle yet? Sorry, I know how hard it was for you to find a free time to teach me, but I can afford a day off. I've built enough of a lead on second place. Gotta leave myself some room for improvement next month. Right, yes, of course. Point thing is, you're my apprentice, but how can you be getting stuck like this? Are you really gonna doing the things the way I taught you? I did my best to use the words you taught me, but... What? Things like, the wine is full-bodied with exquisite balance and a lively zing. I don't understand what they mean at all, so how am I supposed to pretend I do when talking to people? And there's things like our wine comes from a winery with deep historical roots. We just use grapes from our own vineyard. Isn't this misleading? Your your winery might actually have deep historical roots. If it's a local winery, you know? Nano says we should put ourselves in other people's shoes and be sincere when dealing with them. That way everyone will trust us. It's the only way to get a good deal that everyone's happy with. So I knew it. Listen to me, your playbook is outdated. You're being sincere, but other people aren't necessarily going to be sincere back. Gullible idiots get swindled and lose everything. And even if they put it all on the line to make some cash, they just burn themselves out. You'll see, when you find yourself in a desperate situation, then you'll look around and see no one ready to lend you a hand. Sincerity means nothing in the face of profit. This girl has some crazy lines. Also, kind of a distraction. We had a woman die from a poisoned wine, and now we're just on this like a little business sidetrack. I guess it's still wine related, but you can't entrust your survival to anyone else. We need to be smart, or we'll get gobbled up. You hear me? I don't know. The sight of the girl with her head lowered, clutching at her clothes, makes Tosia decide to lighten up a bit. Look, I'm not saying you need to become a swindler yourself. You just need to package it a little nicer, that's all. Package it? Yep, like using a ribbon to tie a pretty bow and putting it in a nice bag. There we go. Looks much more presentable than before. Oh, actually, she was talking literally. Thought it was a metaphor. You might have already noticed, but there's a huge change coming to the wine racks of Nuovo Volsini. Used to be that they only stock a few types of wine, but now you can easily find Pinot Noirs from Victoria, Cabernet Sauvignons from Colombia, Sweet Rosés from Bolivar. It's a little funny that they use the, you know, I guess it makes sense. It's one of those ways it's not worth it to come up with like, you know, your own types of wine, like in-universe wine types. So they just use Pinot Noir and Cabernet Sauvignon and so on. But you know, considering these names are always based on something kind of in our real world. Okay, rosé is just the color, so. It's a miracle for sure, but can you see where the issue lies when you lift up your glass? This miracle was born from stringent production criteria and carried all across Terra in cargo containers. They're appropriately priced and are stable in quality, but what they lack is soul. Wine isn't meant to lack personality like a fast food burger. Put those Diamond Dozen industrial goods back on the shelf and look at the premium gold label Sangiovese in my hand. Product of craftsmanship honed over decades at a local Syracusan winery. A unique flavor with a lingering aftertaste. One sip will delight the mind. 2 sips will bring good health. Oh, I'd like one. Will this be enough? Also for the new NPC, first of all. But overheard. Huh? What? Aren't you two selling wine? I'm pressed for time, so give it here. Quick. How do I look? You look perfectly fine. Where's the fire, senor? I find myself needing to meet someone, but it's rather last minute. Didn't expect for them to be Nuovo Volsini, and in my rush I wasn't able to prepare a gift. Lucky I ran into you. Grazie mille, signorina. I hope your business goes well. Maybe she's the goat of selling? Senor, wait. Damn, he's fast. I was trying to give you an example. Didn't expect there to be anyone crazy enough to actually buy it. Probably a foreigner since he didn't recognize the wine. He gave us enough to buy a ton of Verdi. It was great though. We finally sold our first bottle. How about a high five? He gave us enough to buy a ton of Verdi. Alright, Raka, yeah, right. No, she just gave a lot of money. Okay. I thought they were like implying that they would go buy Verdi when they're the ones selling Verdi. No, he just overpaid. But, why the long face? Selling something is a victory, even if it was a misunderstanding. It's his own fault for not studying up. But he did look like he was really in a rush. Must be a really important meeting. Hey, kid, if you show up with a bottle of cheap wine in Syracuse, what happens? Oh, that's the concern. He's gonna get fucking murdered? So that's why we're really sorry? Here's your money back. Please use it for some other gift. This isn't a high quality wine, it's just a bottle of Verdi, right? So that's why you two were chasing after me in a panic. Do you know it? How could I not, considering all the years I've drank? Me, so real. I was born in Sorrento, and many years ago I had a falling out with my family. My anger, I ran off to Colombia. You can laugh if you want. My Syracusan is a little rusty these days. But if you knew, then why did you... If I brought a fancy foreign wine as a gift, I'm afraid my papa would slam the door in my face. The meeting is with your own family? I didn't know they moved here. Saw them while I was out on the street, nearly didn't recognize them. Once felt like the biggest deal in all of Syracuse, and now barely feels important at all. All these years I had no contact at all. Time I finally dropped by. My family was not well off, so we had Verdi with dinner. I don't know why Papa never tired of it. I hope that once he sees the bottle, he'll let me in. But there's been no misunderstanding here. Bottle of common, ordinary Verdi, wrapped with care, appeared in front of me precisely when I needed it. And for that, I'm willing to pay this price. This guy is kind of fucking cool. If it still weighs on your conscience, then why not offer me a good luck as a bonus? Sure, best of luck to you. Never thought I'd see the day I'd chase down a buyer to get my product back. You're looking chipper. Happy now? When I tell Nonno, he's gonna say I made a good deal. Then how about a high five? Yay! No time to rest on your laurels, though. We've only sold one bottle. You can count one more happy accidents. Excuse me, are you Bettina? Foreign young man. I am. Who might you be, signore? Finally found you. Miss Bianca says you sell traditional Syracusan red wine. Is that right? Plan to open a Syracusan restaurant in Victoria, and I might consider bringing a few such items back with me. Could you introduce your product? Oh, you mean... The golden opportunity is knocking, Bettina. Don't just stand there. The important part is putting your marketing skills to good use next. Still, remember what I taught you. Signorina Tosia? Never mind, kid. You graduated. Just forget everything I said. It's better you do things your own way. Tosia watches the girl and the young man move to the curb, listing out the gains and losses in her head out of habit. Syracusan restaurant. You know, if he's looking for a local wine, he'd make more profit if he went for something a couple grades higher than Birdie. Well, it's all about what the buyer thinks in the end. Would he though? He can buy cheap wine and sell it as supposedly expensive Syracusan wine. That's way more profits. It's like, oh, this is important directly from Syracuse. So, I don't know. If you buy more expensive wine, then, you know, I guess you can sell it even more expensive then, but you gotta have multiple types of wine. Just gotta hope he signs a long-term agreement, though even if he does, it's still a drop in the bucket. This label isn't gonna escape bankruptcy or acquisition that easily. The conversation nearby seems to pause for a moment. The girl turns to Tosia, jumping and waving her hands, a bright smile plastered all over her face. Looks like things are going well. Whatever, as long as she's happy. Maybe she's not as much of a hard ass, but she is still like insane businesswoman. 1 week later. Maybe this is before the murder. By the way, like this particular story bit might be before the murder. Because I guess they were also talking earlier, like, oh, that the guy was busy with planning the championship. I've spoken with Mr. Roger and he approves of your idea. He simply has some hesitation about getting involved and is worried about the risks. No rush. The Adeptus Probability isn't making any big moves right now, but this doesn't mean things will go the way GCC planned. Let me just say the Adeptus. We may be backed by the GCC right now, but we need to make our own preparations. No matter which of these titans lets something slip through its fingers, we shall enjoy a sumptuous feast. We are not the only ones waiting to get a slice of the pie. We simply need to be ready, wait for the perfect wave to carry us aloft. He has words. Oh, look who it is. Our shining star of the market finally arrives. Sales tell me you got quite a few local retailers to sign our shelf display agreement, so I thought we should celebrate. Thanks, it was just like you said, not much resistance when we were talking. I meant to have this celebratory dinner yesterday, but my secretary told me you were busy with something. I have made friends with a local girl these past few days. She invited me to her home for dinner. Sorry, I know you don't splurge often. Well, I apologize. This is great. We're foreigners in Novo City. Only by understanding the Syracusans can we empty their pockets. I don't think she actually enjoys the dinners that they have with him, because apparently she was left hungry last time. And went to have pizza afterwards. It seems my lovely niece has some tricks up her sleeve. You always know exactly why you do things. That's what I like the most about you. Come, Nazadrovia. I think you've misunderstood something, Wujek Charek. I guess maybe Wujek is uncle. I didn't go to the kid's place to fish for some information. It was just to sing her happy birthday. Oh, is that so? The glass filled with first-rate red wine freezes in... Oh yeah, she did say that her birthday's in a week. The glass filled with first-rate red wine freezes in midair, while the young lady on the other side of the table gives him a smile. Her family is as ordinary as it can be. They even brought all their furniture in from the countryside. Family that's the complete opposite to our Novo Cini Vita Nuova. I did manage to get one piece of good news there, though. Look. Tosia pulls out a soft drink in a glass bottle, resting on the pure white sand tablecloth. Charek cannot help but laugh. Chinotto. You're here to eat dinner, you know. Why bring your own drink? This is the Chinotto I asked about last week. Our family says there are still grocers in the city who sell it. Not sure if you remember, but my tata often went to Syracuse for work. Every time he came back, he'd bring some snacks and toys for me. My favorite was this drink. I always beg him to bring back more next time. Would have been way too heavy now that I think about it. But you know what happened next? He lost his job, so I didn't get to drink Chinotto anymore, naturally. I wonder if that's based on an actual soda in Italy, or if it's just something they come up with. Because it's not Coke, obviously. It's a different thing. but just trying to think of. I've been to Italy a few times, so I'm trying to think of if there was like any. Is it maybe it's actually just called Chinotto. Maybe the real thing is literally just Chinotto. Okay, it's literally just that's just what that's just what it is. It's just real. Yeah, it's just the thing. It's just the real thing. It's a carbonated soft drink produced from the juice of the fruit of the myrtle leaf orange tree. I don't know why I didn't just fucking Google it right away. Yeah, it's just it's just the real thing. Its appearance is similar to that of cola, but not as sweet, having a bittersweet taste. I don't think I have actually had this. Mostly consumed in Italian Malta. Have I been to Malta? Also under brand name Chino. Oh, Coca-Cola produced under brand name Fanta Amara in Malta. Okay. Interesting. In Italy, Sue. We went to a Michelin star restaurant in Finland. I showed a pic to my mom and she just asked where the food was. Yeah, that's just most. That's so many Michelin star restaurants is just like the fruity tooty sort of fancy for the sake of fancy stuff. I mean, I kind of get it sort of, but also I'm like, I'm way more impressed when it's like, oh, this is a Michelin star ramen restaurant or something. The Michelin star McDonald's, you know? I'm like, oh, now that's interesting. Now that sounds like it could be a good experience. Instead of 26 courses of these tiny little things. Toss your prize off the cap, the soft drink in the brown glass bottle letting out a cheerful hiss. I was wanting to try it again. I'm starting to think if these old-fashioned things really did disappear. It'd be a real shame. Na zdrowie, Wujek Sarek. Tosia lifts up the bottle, knocking it against the wine glass. Honestly, that zero-proof sparkling water from last week? Not my cup of tea, no offense. Yeah, I mean, well, was it really just... It was just sparkling water, so you just, like, don't like sparkling water? Or is it supposed to be, like, zero-proof sparkling wine or something? Is it, like, a weird translation? Because... Zero-proof sparkling water is still so strange. Censored. Even though they're talking about wine. The whole fucking half the event is about wine. Anyway, it's time for furry woman. Witness. I guess she might be a witness. Furry woman with an open chest, you know? How scandalous. One too many references over the... Oh, she's here right away. Lupina, here is the pill of the lading for this order of your winery's grapes by Salutsovino. Oh, she has a winery? You can look over the details. Let me see. Everything seems to be in order. You're always on top of things. She really does have a, like a... What are those? I guess they're like sword. I thought it was almost like a whip or something. I'm flattered. Why is he covered up? Lupina, something which I'm not sure I should ask in my position. Also, is her... Surely that's like, she's just getting called that. That's not... Is her name actually Lupina? It's like calling a wolf girl Wolfette. By the formality. Go ahead, Zio Helio. We've known each other for long enough. Okay, it is. No, it is like a. It's like it's not a sword. It's a baton. But you know, with like a sword grip and also for some reason like nunchuck chains. Ever since Kazimierz and wine entered the market, you've been running a surplus of grapes at your winery, which has been good for us. Your prices are reasonable and it helps us clear inventory. It's a deal that benefits both sides. Yes, but the amount that you're offering in this batch, is it too much for you? No, we use all the grapes we can get, but are you leaving any for your own wine production? You can tell? Lupina. Golden Prairie approached us a little while back. They offered to buy the Verdi winery. They made an offer I couldn't refuse. Classic. You have to have that line at least once in a Siracusa event. The winery is going under, despite our best efforts. At least Golden Prairie's interest shows that our equipment and vineyards are worth something. Thank you for everything, Zio Elio. Salute Savina has always been a good partner to the Verde winery. Wait, is she related to the Bettina we just saw? Or? But what about the other guys? David, what about Niccolo? Did he agree? I'll convince them. So I was so distracted by, you know, the top half of her. But I didn't notice that she has quite the thighs as well. No, Lupina. How could we sell our Verde winery to the Casimirs? Also, they don't want your equipment. They just want to buy you out and delete you and take your, like, grapes, I guess. Calm down, Niccolo. Sit down and talk about this. There's wine and there's food. Yeah, oh, wow, actually, it's getting fucking... Dude, it's squeezed so hard. That's like circulation squeeze. Like... It's like if you lose a leg and gotta stop the bleeding, you're putting it this tight. What the hell? Ma'am. Your leg okay? Why does she not have infection monitor too? It's hiding beneath the fur, okay? What's that? Our signature wine. Sangiovese. You know it well, don't you? Yes, I remember this label. Old Verdi. Your nonno painted it himself. I raised the grapes when he first developed this wine. Trimmed them vine by vine myself. Clippers were heavy and unwieldy. What the heck? Especially in winter, when you're out all day in the cold. It was worth it. These vines are older than all of us put together. In Casimirs, they trim their vines with machines, so they can go for a whole vineyard in a single day. It's not the same. Those stupido machines rip the vines apart. May save time in the short term, but the grapes don't have long to live once they're done with them. They know how to trim along the grain of the vine, ensure that the fruits get proper sunlight and develop the right flavor. Kids don't know the old Syracusan craft and no one wants to learn anymore. Syracusan wine is unique because every wine is as old as the familia. Caring for a grapevine is like caring for family, at least it was for your nonno. Niccolo. Think about it, Lupa. Every grape in Verde winery is picked from a vine older than your nonno. Workers like us have spent our whole lives picking grapes, carrying barrels, making wine. My son inherited my craft, even my granddaughter is selling wine for the winery. Where we go if the winery is sold. I'll make sure everyone's taken care of. Your skills won't go to waste. Would the family we've built here still exist after the winery is sold and all the workers have gone their separate ways? To me, it's better to die with dignity now than to continue to try to scrape by in Nuovo Cini and give it a decent ending while this land still has value. Severance will be paid according to our contract terms. Not the severance I'm worried about. We were never all that interested in running the winery, but don't you feel anything for this place old Verde kept running all those years? None wouldn't want this winery to go bankrupt. Not such a bad thing to find a new home for it. It's Nuovo Cini, Niccolo. It's time we accepted the new order. They actually don't understand, though, that yes, indeed, there's a market for the true, original, traditional wine. Fools. The old worker stays silent for a while. Finally, he takes an invitation from his pocket and puts it on the table. What's that? My granddaughter Betty turns 10 next week. But this is by the old rules of Syracuse. Okay, you must be old. Your granddaughter, okay, you're old. I thought you were a young guy. You're old. Your granddaughter Betty. Yes, artisanal wine. You have to say it. It's the rule. It's the old rule of Syracuse, artisanal. She's 10 already? I'll have to... I'm leaving. So I guess that's what was why they hid their face, yeah, because they're supposed to be like way older than the actual sprite is. But their hands were so young. At a small, unremarkable home in a quiet alley, it is already late when Lupina arrives. Warm light greets her as she opens the door. It's the bar from Lungman. I knew I'd find you here. This is my private bar. You'll always find me here when I'm free. You fucking alcoholic. Here, your usual. One Tramonto with extra orange juice, less syrup, and 6 cubes of ice. I guess she's a bartender as well. That's fair enough. Thought you'd be busier. Casimir's Red Wine Championship is in just a few days. Golden Prairie sent out an invitation to all the local wineries. Okay, yeah, so some of these are actually happening like happening? We had the murder, and now we're actually getting some of the stuff leading up to it. I'm not really in a position to participate, but I suppose you'll be there. It's a marketing opportunity, no matter who's organizing it. Yes, it is an opportunity. But I've made the necessary arrangements, so I don't need to be there personally for the rest. Do you prefer to hide here and mix drinks at your leisure? Mix drinks and change lives? Just a little hobby of mine. You have your hobbies too, don't you? Would you care to check the drum set over there for me, my dear Vintner? Vintner? She's a drummer? She sits down in the drummer's chair and starts banging out a lively rhythm. Her foot stomps steadily on the cymbal pedal, while the movements of the drumsticks in her hands are clean and confident. Se muoio in guerra, seppeltemi con un florino verso la cremita di mamma, sulla mia toma come vino. There was a song apparently, but I just said it. A song that every Syracusan child knows. You brought it to Novo Sinin. An arrangement. The original is too melancholic for this occasion. Streets are filled with vibrant Kazimierzian wine ads. Syracusan must learn to read the room. It could be jazz-ish, you know? Shake her guard with... Right, with... fucking... drums. Maybe not all the time. Ilya told you about our winery. That's what you're here for. What's your plan? Kazimierzians are coming to audit the assets tomorrow. Already signed the letter of intent to sell. Weren't many workers left by the time Papa took over from Nomnom. There's no point in carrying on. Traditional winemaking methods are time and labor intensive. The winery was operating a loss by the time Papa passed it to me. A shame, since you've already made your decision. What do you need from me? It's not like you to hesitate. The remaining workers, they're all skilled veterans. They'll do well no matter where they go. Salutsovina has dozens of wineries under your label. Must be places that could use a pair of skilled hands. Not trying to force them on you. I know the Familia's rules. You'll be doing me a huge favor, and I'm not in a position to repay. Just give them a chance. Check them out and assign them based on your assessment and needs. Nothing to be nervous about. It's only natural that you want to take care of your family. I do need to hire more hands. Grazie. All's well with the workers, but what about you? Me, I guess I'll chase my dreams in music? Frankly, I think I'm a much better drummer than I am a vintner. The feigned nonchalance is accompanied by a series of drum riffs, the echo in this little private bar never leaving the room. We'll meet her. She's gonna be the next member of Alive Until Sunset. I can't just... He's dead? Who's there? Elio, you're still here? Let me help. Put the lights on, I can't see anything. I had to click. So, ma'am, it is, it's a little, she does indeed, oh, right, it's also, right, they're also drumsticks. I guess they're also drumsticks. The weapons. But also, like, she's kind of, like, kitted up for war, or, like, clearly fighting, which is, interesting outfit for a winery owner and, I guess, hobby musician. It's like, having, like, knight's pauldrons on. When you think about it, it's like, huh? You look so combat-oriented, Even if, okay, I guess some of these are also, like, drumsticks. Also, I guess there's keys on it. This one doesn't have anything. This one has keys on it. So quiet. I can hear the ringing in my ears. Used to be a lively place. Sounds of footsteps, barrels rolling, metal and glass clanging against each other, bubbles sizzling while grapes ferment. Now it's all... She wants to be playable. She hasn't decided yet. She's really trying to convince HG of make me playable. There's only silence left. Lupina slowly walks past the warehouse, the cellar, the vat. She knows this may be the last time she makes these checks. Her hand touches the antiquated equipment, the marks of age. The handle of the presser falls off the screw. No, the Kazimierzian order is coming soon. How could my equipment break at a time like this? The stubborn old stuff got to screw it back. Elio and Nicola are sabotaging. I'm in the past and now catching up. Say something nice for me so I can hear it in like 40 minutes, Joel. No. Should have been caught up the whole time. El Bozo? Also, alright, yeah, because Cubic has rewind on Twitch because he's a sub. That's fucked up. Oh yeah, because Cubic still gets to see the chat live. Ought to be just like a light bulb. It's stuck? Stuck? Who? Fucking factory worker. Lupina. David? The timing, come, help me fix this thing. The vertical screw is completely stripped and won't go back on. I was gonna tell you I was doing my regular checks when I found a problem with the filtration system's hydraulic cylinder. It's cracked and can't maintain hydraulic pressure. They really are sabotaging the whole thing. Holy mama. Lupa, the Kazimierzyans are here. She looked a little suspicious there. A fine classic villa, Signorina Verdi. The wolf's head on the wine barrels is quite detailed. Even the stone tiles in the cellar are tastefully ornamented. Here's my grandfather who painted them. Shall we discuss what to do with your family's artwork? Would you like us to remove it intact and return it to you, or include it in the purchase? Remove it? Since the painting of the tiles are a work of your late grandfather, we can arrange for an art preservation expert to remove them for you, should you wish. I assure you they will not be damaged. Oh, then yes, please. The expert's fee will be at your own expense, of course. I knew it. Fine, I'll pay. Please make sure the tiles are removed intact and undamaged. Shall we proceed to the next item? They're gonna make her buy so much stuff that the sale doesn't matter at all. Alright. Crusher, fermentation tank, presser, thermostat, filtration system. You have a full complement of winemaking equipment. Yes, it was my grandfather who procured it. One of the most popular models at the time. Very durable. Grandfather? That was a while ago then. Still, it works well. Please, come and see our crusher. Also, that's the thing. They're old. They're high quality instead of this new stuff that breaks instantly. Also, now with these Twitch comments, I should have said something actually nice about Cubic, so that they'd see the Twitch message and be like, "What the fuck? Why would you say that?" And then I actually just said something nice for the bit. This machine crushes grapes with minimal loss. My grandfather retrofitted it with extra wide rollers, increasing production by... Seems to be an issue with the sealing ring on the machine's connector, if I'm not mistaken. I wish I could actually say something nice. The fact that that's a quote now as well. He's gonna be so confused. Equipment assessment is not my specialty, but I am under the impression that the sealing ring should not be exposed. And your thermostat. I took note of the temperature reading when I passed it. The temperature seems suboptimal for winemaking. Oh fuck, accidentally. Well, yes, the equipment may be a little old, but our workers maintain it regularly. We have all the necessary spare parts on hand. We can get it repaired quickly. Not when your workers are sabotaging it. Doctor and priestess are like ancient species. Did the humans die or perish against what they're trying to stop? Yes, essentially. Without going into any more details, yes. It's crazy you have this knowledge already, you know, when you've like only just started Arknights, because obviously this was something we only got to properly know years down the line. It will not affect delivery. If that is what you're concerned about, there's no need to worry. Your equipment was not included in our initial assessment. Traditional Syracusan equipment is inefficient and incompatible with our production lines. We don't intend to keep it to begin with. You may dispose of it as you see fit. This includes the oaken casks in the warehouse that you showed me. What? The casks have to be fine. truly, these Kazimierzians know nothing about making wine. And I don't know, huh? You specifically want to have like old wine barrels. Those are fucking valuable as hell. These handmade casks create uncontrolled impurities in the storage process, which are detrimental to quality control for mass-produced wine. You don't use oaken casks? Or replace traditional oaken casks with steel containers, which have better hermetic properties and more responsive to temperature control. You don't make wine in fucking metal? What the? Huh? That's not even wine at that point. It'll lose a lot of flavor. Mierda, I sound like my nonna. That'd be a question for our inspector to worry about. I suggest you focus on whether the offer meets your expectations. I assure you that you have nothing to worry about. There's a land on which your winery sits that we are interested in. We will offer a fair price for it. We get a plot of excellent land while you receive a reasonable payment in return. It's a win-win arrangement. Debatable. I will document the results of the audit, then our legal representative will contact you to finalize the contract. Please reach out to her if you have any questions. Would you like to try a sip? If I recall correctly, we bought out Verde Winery's inventory last month, as you were in urgent need of liquidity to make payroll. Oh. There'd be no need to see me out. Have a nice day, Signorina Verdi. They care nothing for the true wine experience. They make it a mass-produced bullshit. They have no heart, they have no soul, they have no the body and the juice of the wine. That's not a wine, that's a grape juice with alcohol in it. Ay, ay, ay. The Kazimierzian leaves the winery with his briefcase, takes one glance at the lonely vineyard, then gets into a black car that has been waiting for him outside. It takes a long while until the sound of the car's engine is long gone, for Lupina to come to her senses. It's over. Nonna's winery is sold, just like that. I thought they would care more about our traditions and equipment. Niccolo. The pressure and crusher, the thermostat and filtration system. I was the one who broke them. Yeah, I guess the sabotage did indeed not work at all. I know, I'm not here to blame anyone. You've been here for so many years. You thought breaking a few pieces of equipment would stop the purchase. I think they did think that, maybe. I just hoped they would stay. The pipes, Elio. He did something else? I wanted to stop him, but I understand your anger. What's done is done. If the order didn't find it, there's no reason for us to tell them. Well, probably gonna fucking rip the pipes out anyway. They're gonna tear down everything that's here. They just want the land and none of the stuff. Lupa. I wasn't much of a businesswoman, but I know how to tell a good guy from a bad one. That drunk papa of mine wasn't even born when he started working at the winery with my nonno. This guy's super old. You know, he used to measure my height with his presser. See the lines on the cylinder? For the best that it broke, at least it couldn't be sold. Verde Winery was my entire life. Just every new bottle go out the door, saw us weather one storm after another. Thought my granddaughter or maybe my granddaughter's granddaughter would get to see new bottles going on. Didn't think it would end this way. If continuing the old ways won't protect them, maybe this is for the best. Is there anything else I can do? My son would like you to come to his daughter's 10th birthday party. Yes, Betty. It's a bottle of wine her age, as is tradition. You gonna drink? Is the kid gonna drink it? I mean, it's Italy. I would think so. Get that 10-year-old drunk. But take good care of this winery until it really changes hands, mio caro Lupa. My dear Vintner, I would very much appreciate if you would pay a visit to my private bar and may help yourself to my collection. He told me to come, but he's nowhere to be found. People in Syracuse die every day. Now, is that enough to shut him up at home? He wants his guests to mix their own drinks. Interesting. It's been a long time since I've done it. What was it that Nonno said? Oh. Suddenly the old film effect. Winemaking is a slow and gradual process. The wine begins to gain its unique flavor during fermentation, like a family slowly brought together. Sometimes wines and juices of different flavors are mixed together before being presented for tasting. No, you're too young to drink. No, that's never a thing in Italy. You're never too young. Are you listening, Lupa? That's a paintbrush, not a drumstick. I'm not done painting yet. Yes, you can play with it once I'm done. Look, this is our vineyard. This big wolf head is me and the small one is you. You want to paint a couple of brushes too? 2 drumsticks? My mio caro Lupa sure has her own ideas. You want to be a musician, the most rhythmic drummer on Terra? Then Nonno's gonna be the best painter on Terra. No, I'm not angry. See, I'm painting right now on a wine bottle. I'll take you to the cellar when it gets warmer and decorate the walls. I wanted to do this for a long time. It took years just for the idea to take shape. I want you to both inherit the winery, the freedom to become a musician. Okay, no. I was gonna like those two things are kind of going against each other. To inherit the winery and have the freedom to become a musician. Like, I want you to both inherit the winery and have freedom to become a musician. Which I mean, it's a little. How's that gonna work? I guess you did inherit the winery, then just sold it all. Because your family should not make you give up your dreams. Guess it's come to this, Nonna. Can even come up with a bottle from this year. Maybe a bit of music to lift the mood. The drummer walks to the instrument. There's a finely wrapped gift box on the stool on which she has often sat. She lays down her drumsticks, opens the ribbon-wrapped gift box, and finds a bottle of wine within. The label features 2 wolf's heads by the grapevines, one large, one small, with 2 drumsticks by the ears of the smaller wolf, drawn with childish lines. The label says, Verdi 1092. That's a good year of a wine. The drummer lays her hand on the bottle gently, then puts it back inside the box and takes up the drumsticks. The sound of song begins to echo through the bar. Se muoio in guerra, seppellitemi con un fiorino verso le lacrime di mamma, sulla dimatoma come vino. That was 3 more. No way, her. She's back. I forgot her name. Iris? Eris? I'm sure. They'll probably give me the name. Crash. You know, when you have something called the Crash and it's supposed to be a truck diver, Irene, right? Irene, yeah, but like written the Italian way instead of Spanish way. And also there it is right there. For a long time afterwards, Irene thought back to her hesitation that night every time she drove her truck alone. The sky is completely dark by the time the truck stops at the edge of Court Square. She does not turn off the engine. The vibration is transmitted to her wrists via the steering wheel before gradually subsiding. She called Lavinia on her way, saying she has something to discuss. Lavinia, no way! That's the thing, it's gonna be more cars. Is it gonna be a car crashes again? It's like every... I mean, almost it is, though. It kind of has to be. Every Syracuse event has to have some kind of car accident. Last time we had just like car crash and whatnot, even multiple maybe, and we had a car bomb in the first one. And they're always like a plot relevant car accident. So I guess that's just how Italy is, you know, a lot of car accidents. So I don't know what to do, Lavinia. Irene mutters in the driver's seat, but she cannot bring herself to finish the sentence. You're the only one I can count on. Is she really the only one? Irene spends a few moments in bitter silence as raindrops splash her face through a gap in the window. She turns off the engine. I made more money in one trip than I did in the last 2 weeks combined. Casimirsians pay well. You showing off? Makeup payments for this week alone wiped out a whole trip's margin for me. I don't hear you talking about the heavy fines the Casimirsians levy. Fines? For what? Thanks for helping to pay my share. I've gotten paid. How much do I owe you? Don't worry about it. Brothers help each other out. No. Take his money. What do you mean? Right you are. Save a portion and do my part next time someone gets fined. Saving is the right move. Virginian fuel prices are rising, just like real life. I was just at the station and boy did it hurt to watch the numbers going up and up and up. Did run into a bloke from Leoti Pharmacy at the fuel station who lent me his discount card. The truck drivers don't have discount cards though? Like if anyone would have discount cards, maybe them. Should bring me a pack of smokes next time I go by their shop. For the pharmacist? Really? As long as Irene doesn't catch you hanging out with a wise guy. Oh, the pharmacy's by the mafia. Hanging out with who? No, it's nothing. Ciao, Irene. Haven't seen you in a while. Think I'm gonna break your delivery record soon. Great. As a reward, you get the transportation security paperwork from the Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti. Per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti. Anything but the AST. Anyway, time for me to do my job. A dopo. It's like, no, don't give me paperwork. Dear God. He's right. We haven't seen you in camp for a while. Have you gone thinner? How should we have? You gotta take care of your health, or Summer will never forgive us. I'll change the subject. What were you chatting about? Oh yeah, Summer fucking died real bad. Nothing really. Come on. When are we gonna Sam learn? Where is Sam anyway? Didn't see him anywhere in camp, and his schedule's empty for a few days. Where is he? Also, isn't he? She's a truck driver, but she got a helmet. I mean, maybe she uses a bike on, you know, her free time, but he's been sick. Fever, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole shebang. Had to go home and lie down after last night's delivery. Jenny's taking his orders for today. Should he maybe go to hospital? Because emergencies don't pay for days off, you know? Better find a sub if we've got one. Never mind, I'll get a doctor to look at him. Did you need him for something? Irene irritably shakes the object in her hand, makes a swishing sound. Package is obviously wine bottle shape, never mind the Salute Savino logo displayed prominently on it. Why did Salute Savino send us a bottle of wine? I would have thought that one of you dropped the delivery in the mailroom if the package didn't have Sam's name on it. Oh, it's probably a moving gift for Sam's cousin's family. Moving gift? From or for? For. When his cousin's family first came to know it was Senior Demetri helped out. I think he mentioned he'd send a bottle of wine as a moving gift. Just a little wine, Irene. It's not for him. Sam quit drinking, you know that. Probably good for a truck driver. I know, I'm just wondering how Senior Belon knew about Sam's cousin. I knew Ruggiero. I was planning to go shopping at your little supermarket a few days ago, only to find out that it's become a Salute Savino outlet. Just when you've gone so friendly with each other. I rented to them. Turns out managing a whole supermarket was more trouble than it's worth, and I figured I was better off driving trucks. Fair? Were you in some trouble I didn't know about? Something that you couldn't tell me, but you were comfortable telling the mafia? It's not that, Irene. I don't even understand. Small favors are favors too, and all favors have to be repaid someday, with interest. But they're just helping us right now. Are they? Red Wine Championship starts in a few days. Is it not obvious why Salute Savina sent a moving gift right now? It's just a bottle of wine at this point. What about later? Mafia money? The familia's name? We go back to working for them like you used to? Probably that history repeating itself. I promise you it won't. Besides, I don't know Vulcini's new order. If you don't trust me, you should trust the mayor and Judge Lavinia. It's not that I don't trust them, it's just... Never mind. Don't forget what happened at the Carnivale. Avoid dealing with the familia. You may think they're just ordinary employees and shopkeepers, but everything they do is under the watchful eyes of the wise guys. It was traumatic for you, as it was for all of us. It is funny to call them wise guys. But things have changed for the Salutos. Venetia Jr. is gone. It's a new era of leadership. Ruggiero is interrupted by the sound of his phone ringing. Irene says nothing. She shakes her head and turns around to leave. Ruggiero hears an urgent voice as soon as he picks up the phone. Ruggiero, I can't reach Sam. What do I do? Come to the vehicle checkpoint at Dock 2. The customers say they're slapping on an extra fine. I just can't get them to listen to me. What? Seeing Ruggiero's anxiety, Irene gestures for him to pass the terminal. It's me. What's going on? Irene? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Sam's been running a fever, so I swapped shifts with him. This run just happened to be on the way to my order, but the customers changed the delivery destination at the last minute. I didn't make it in time. Tried to explain, but this customer doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying. He keeps saying I broke the contract and has demanded I pay a fine. Please hurry, Irene. The print of the contract is tiny and thick and I can't make sense of it. Now I'm on my way. Tiny and thick. Short stack contract? Surely you can make an accommodation. It was your side that changed the delivery address at the last minute. Why should the driver pay a penalty? It's like cartoonish villainy. Cartoonish business villainy of like, we changed the contract and you broke it. Commissioner, all orders are logged in our system and our adjustments are made according to the published schedule. Drivers bear responsibility for any shift changes they make themselves. But the contract makes it quite clear. Exceptions compromise our ability to enforce our contracts in the future. Continuing this argument does neither of us any good. If the driver doesn't leave now, based on road conditions and the published schedule, you may be held in substantial breach of the contract, resulting in a fine equal to 15% of the order. It will also be your 7th penalty of the month. Therefore, the windows for any subsequent orders will be tightened accordingly. Seems a little... just a little unflexible, or almost unflexible to the point I feel like this would be causing issues with your own deliveries. Suddenly changing the place. Irene cannot recall what she saw in the forced smile that Johnny offered her. Was it regret or apology? Jenny departed promptly upon hearing the foreign businessman's kind words before Irene could intervene, uttering a few words of self-encouragement to himself. I can't just let it go like this, thought Irene. Crash a car into them? Crash a truck into their headquarters? Back already, Irene? Things go with Johnny. Did we keep a copy of the customization contracts at the camp? Bring it to me. What's going on? Terms. Something not right. Certain parts that don't seem reasonable. Need to talk it over with their people. Johnny's trouble hasn't been resolved, has it? Nope. But I'll take care of it. I knew it. Other drivers have tried to talk to the customization informally. As for the outcome, I think you can guess. You're talking about how to handle Johnny's fines while you were away. His wife just gave birth to twins, and the folks at home are not in the best of health. Thankfully, Demet. Ruggiero stops in mid-sentence. Irene asks no more. Perhaps she's afraid that she might ask how the mob boss learned about the issues facing Johnny's family, when she herself has only just heard of them moments ago. She feels like she has spent too long in her office, so long that she can barely recognize her family anymore, same as it was 2 years ago. Get the contract. I'll be fine. I'll find a way to deal with it. AST's drivers do not rely on the kindness of strangers, especially those looking to hide their traps. It is funny how she doesn't indeed get to drive a truck anymore. She's just doing bureaucracy. The lighting at the Cosimoesian Chamber of Commerce's reception room is much warmer than the Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti's office, the thick rug thoroughly muffling the sound of any footsteps. Couldn't just put AST, had to put the full legal name in. The water and documents on the table are placed such that one cannot tell if this is the table of a formal negotiation or simply a courtesy discussion. Cosimoesian representative arrives a little earlier than appointed and is looking at the documents when Irene arrives. He sets the papers down and stands to greet her. Irene sits without engaging in small talk. I wish to make certain adjustments to the cooperation between Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti and the Cosimoesian Chamber of Commerce. The drivers are not machines, they're doing their best to cooperate, and while it's true that they must sometimes be held responsible for breaches of contract, many more are attributable to disconnect between contract terms and reality. Too many of these terms are more reasonable. The drivers don't know how to read contracts. Irene takes out a stack of contracts and pushes them forward. The edges are frayed from excessive flipping and the pages are heavily labeled. She did her work. On their own, the individual terms may not seem unreasonable. Taken together, however, they serve to put all the pressure on the lowest rung of the ladder. Cosimoesian representative flips through the contract, reading it carefully, staying on one page for minutes, seemingly to confirm the detailed wording. After some time, he finally puts it away, and it's just like, everything looks good to me. There's no grammatical errors in here. What could the problem be? I understand your concerns. Indeed, we have also noted the recent freight disruptions. However, the terms of the contract are clear, and you had the opportunity to review them before you signed it. Yes, because none of us realized that they would be relevant at the same time, so often. The rules themselves are not contradictory, it is just that current operating conditions are tighter than expected. What is your request then, Commissioner? I would like more flexibility when dealing with edge cases, at least for the time being, some space in implementation, if nothing else. I think it would be conducive to better cooperation in the future. The Kazimierzian representative is silent for a moment. Irene has a feeling that the silence is not a hesitation, but an assessment of whether the statement calls for the dignity of a response. A fleeting feeling, nothing more. Marking every single little adjustment would be a considerable burden on management moving forward. However, we could, shall we say, set the recent records aside for the time being? What do you mean, set aside? They'll not be referenced at the current stage, at least not until the scheduling cycle is over. What about penalty records of individual drivers? They will not be scrutinized individually at the current stage. You may focus your time and energy on ensuring smooth overall operation. Small problems will not be examined so closely when the big picture is secure. We too would prefer that our partners are able to work without pressure. Recognize, of course, that recent circumstances are exceptional. We appreciate your contributions in dealing with the increased workload associated with the upcoming Red Wine Championship. Yes, the AST has committed virtually all of our capacity to the Red Wine Championship orders. I appreciate our Kazimierzian partners' understanding of our drivers' circumstances. For better cooperation in the future, yes? I will adjust our schedules and review the conditions of our drivers. I recognize that doing business with you has been very beneficial for our members. Well, I guess some of them. Irene stands up and shakes hands with her counterpart. The hand held in hers is firm, without applying excessive force, and the expression on the man's face remains polite, exactly as it was when Irene entered the room. We will review the next steps once things have settled down a bit. Irene nods. Businessman. May Chaos take the KGCC. Well, this is just a GCC, they're not in K. Irene even feels a slight spring in her step as she leaves the room, carrying the contract. She did not see ground. The feelings help ease the anxiety that she felt before she came, but also causes a pang of regret. If only she had come sooner to advocate for the drivers, if only she had checked the contract more carefully. Everything is resolved now, at least. There's room to negotiate. Irene spends the next day tallying the violations on all the drivers, the Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti's available budget, even her own savings. Later, she goes back to the camp to tell the others not to worry about the fines. Everything's getting better, just like the sunny weather that has graced Nuova Volsini recently, thinks Irene. We have still yet to go back to touch on, the wine murder. Guess it's gonna be like the last two, or maybe just the last one. Sam is already feeling better by the time he leaves the pharmacy. In terms of his wallet, at least. He's been off for 3 days, his fever has subsided, and he feels ready to go back to work. Can't have the others subbing in for me all the time. Should figure out my schedule tomorrow and hit the ground running. Who's calling at this hour? Hello? Oh, Tommaso, from Saluzzavino. Thanks for the flu and fever pills you gave me the other day. They work great. Just looking for them in the pharmacy to keep them on hand for the next time I get a fever. Oh, you're too kind. You said the order wasn't urgent, but I didn't want to hold up your business any longer, so I took it upon myself to deliver it. I didn't expect to see medicine boxes in with the pay. You weren't there when I picked it up, but I guess it was you who put the meds in there? You Saluzzos are too kind. Oh, sorry, Bellones, of course. Your Bellones are too kind. So, what do you need from me at a time like this? Your boss forgot to add a few crates to the delivery, and no one's available? And you need for tomorrow's Red Wine Championship? Oh, we can't have that. I'm just 1 block away from your winery. I'll get it. Should only take a few minutes on my bike. Indeed, the favor comes in. Don't worry about a fee. Neighbors help each other out, after all. You insist? All right. Have it your way. We can talk about it after I deliver the wine. Well, I guess they're paying for it. Never mind. I guess they pay for it. I'm at the point where you receive the message from past me. You're not going to catch up by the time. I'm going to be done before you catch up. Guess even the big companies slip up every once in a while. Good thing Tommaso found me. How'd I get my number anyway? Did I ever tell him? Never mind, that's not important. What is important is that Nuova Volsini's wine wins the Red Wine Championship. If the Kazimierzians make good wine, it could possibly be as good as the Syracuse and stuff at any rate. 2 more stops till I get to the venue. It's gotta be against TOS. Oh, they had the crash, right? It's called Crash. Grabs hold of bridge railing. Hands on top of railing. that was a really good scene. It's just text, but Where'd that truck come from? Yep, there's our crash, indeed, right. Whew. Driver scared the shit out of me the way he swerved. Good thing the wine's okay. Must have dozed off and missed the red light, I guess. Heck, the whole truck's flipped over. Hope the driver's okay. Should call the police. Johnny, is that you? Somebody help, my fratello's hurt. Hey, Tommaso, you're here too? Let me get her out from under the wreck. I'll call an ambulance. Why is Tommaso here? Hello? There's been a crash. Driver's out cold. I need an ambulance right now. Poor Johnny. So Tommaso told me their boss will pay for Johnny's medical bills and the truckload of wine. But Johnny might not have crashed if they didn't ask me to make the delivery and the Kazimierzian stuff wouldn't have spilled. How would Johnny not have crashed if they didn't ask him to make a delivery? And then? Then what? Nothing. That's all Tommaso told me. Just an act of kindness, Irene. Tommaso says the owner of Salute Sovino is very troubled about Johnny, that he never expected such a terrible accident. Besides, Johnny's in hospital, and he needs the money. You're at the Kazimierzian's place for a while. What are they saying? Do we need to pay compensation for the goods, or is it Salute Sovino's responsibility? The Kazimierzians said they can write off the goods. Irene stops mid-sentence. She feels a lump in her throat. Her gaze falls upon the truck sitting on the edge of the camp. It has not been repaired yet, and the broken glass inside the truck gleams in the sunlight. Where they put it, they agree to not pursue individual liability for the incident. Takes a few moments for Sam to process the weight of the message, whereupon he visibly lets out a sigh of relief. What about Johnny? No personal restitution. He'll be treated as a failed contract. They'll write off the loss of goods, nice words they used, sharing risks and treating partners fairly. That's great. Honestly, I don't think Johnny could handle paying restitution. He's got way too much on his plate already. He's been taking so many jobs lately, the fatigue must have gone to him. This is why truck drivers have fucking regulations. They can't drive too much. Anyway, tell the friend who asked you to run the errand that we don't need their help. AST's insurance will pay part of Johnny's medical bills and I'll deal with the rest. Sure, alright. Boys have been talking about chipping in for the bills anyway. I'll do my part too. Oh, Tommaso, right? I'll give him a call now. Yeah, indeed, don't let the mafia pay for it. Oh, come on. Doubt the Kazimierzians will let it go easily. You told us about their nice words. What about the not so nice ones? They made it very clear that this was an exception that they only agreed to based on our current partnership. What do you mean? It means that they want us to be more proactive in working within their system, such as future schedules, routes, and other things that we used to decide on our own. As for penalty records, they said they'll assess them in aggregate, a bunch of officialese for internal reference only, no direct fines. That's what they said before too. Formal renegotiations with the Kazimierzians regarding the specifics will take place after the Red Wine Championship. We won't let them put unreasonable terms into the contract this time. Anyway, that's all about the truckload of wine. Don't ask questions and don't think too much about it. It's all in the past now. Irene? I know what you're trying to say. I don't need it. We don't need it. It's all done. Don't worry, I'll find a way. Things will get better for drivers of the AST. For the truckers union. The truckers! Someone say a regulation. My truck. For a long time afterwards, what Irene recalls most vividly about those two negotiations is not anything that her counterpart said, but the strange confidence that she had. She believed that things would solve themselves if they were put out in the open, as long as rules and boundaries were upheld, even without having to rely on those forces that she was loath to involve. Ominous. Not now, I don't have the time for you. Irene impatiently waves away the Lupo delivery man behind her and turns to face the smartly dressed Kuranta. She's anxious yet helpless, unsure what to do with her raised hand. But we couldn't possibly pay such an amount. What do you mean you'll end our partnership if we don't accept? Didn't we say the other day? Our agreement that day was based on the circumstances before that day. Our demands today are based on the changes that will occur after today. We have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it further. His tone was calm, impassive, as though he was simply stating an undisputable fact, and was kind enough to explain it again for Irene's sake. We will not intervene with the assignment of responsibility for the traffic accident, nor do we intend to influence the judgment of the relevant authorities. But the destruction of the goods is the outcome, and nothing can change that. Not to mention the poisoning. Oh, okay, so this is after, huh? As fate would have it, It was supposed to be our wine that the conductor in question last sampled, yet Lupo claims that he had asked someone to deliver it. And the vehicle that delivered the samples under suspicion happened to be the one that caused the accident involving the truck delivering our wine. Yes, these drivers have nothing to do with the poisoning. Of course, I fully believe that. At least I do, from a traffic perspective. Traffic perspective? Regardless of whether the rider violated traffic laws, his actions objectively impacted the non-delivery of our goods. He created a high-risk environment at a critical juncture, the result of which was that the contract was not fulfilled according to agreement. Going after someone who did not commit any actual violations? Going after is such a strong phrase. I said nothing of the sort. We are simply assessing the associated liabilities in accordance with the law. The Kuranta pauses, then continues. The portions of damages that insurance does not cover must, of course, be borne by the liable parties. Business is business, Commissioner Irene. I beg your understanding. Business? This is highway robbery. We regret that you see it as such. I assure you, our company is most disappointed in this turn of events. Meanwhile, we invite any interested drivers to pick up a pamphlet in hopes of future cooperation. It's like, hey, we're here to fuck you over. Have our pamphlet and come drive for us. We continue to welcome rational choices. Wait, Irene, say something. There's no way I can deal with that with what's on this piece of paper myself. Because I have to go. Nope. What do you suggest I do? If you didn't sign that partnership agreement with these foreigners, that crash would never have happened, and Johnny wouldn't be lying in a hospital bed right now. Well, I don't think that's how it comes from. I just want to help us make money, but those customers are going to sue me. I've never even seen that much money in my entire life. How am I supposed to pay it? You said that regulations would protect the truckers union. No, these drivers was once we were part of the municipal system. I shouldn't have to deal with this on my own, right? No, I'll find a way. Either you do that or I'll go and talk to that Bologna associate behind you. Irene reflexively opens her mouth to say no, as she had done so many times whenever this subject is broached, but no words came out. She sees a few drivers standing around the Kuranta in the distance, the same typical smile plastered over his face as always. The man stands there patiently holding a pamphlet, sometimes nodding and sometimes replying softly, looking more like a counselor listening to someone's troubles than a salesman trying to advertise something. The drivers listen to the Kuranta's explanations with perplexed expressions on their faces while casting subtle, searching glances at Irene. Don't worry, I'll find a way. I will. More bureaucracy. Knew them regulations were untrustworthy. No, sorry, that was even regulations. That was just the contract and them being, little schemers. Not that we know all the details in the contracts or whether that truly actually caused anything like the problems, but it's been a long time since Irene last drove a truck to work. It's been a long time since she drove a truck on the new city's roads. Parking spaces are always at a premium at the city hall, where the Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasportis office are located. Visitors from local businesses, guests from foreign trade associations, drivers of the AST, colleagues from other departments, vehicles of all shapes and sizes come and go. Also, imagine trying to find a parking spot for a fucking truck. There's no space for a truck. Exactly. It's a truck. Why'd you take a taxi? In the afternoon, when Irene is driving her truck out of the camp, she overhears the other drivers discussing the pamphlets that the Kazimierzian representative brought, some with excitement, others with suspicion. They talk about the number of fines this quarter, the profits of each job, and their children potentially getting to work for a winery, a pharmacy, or a vehicle factory. The pamphlets paint a picturesque future, not so different from what she saw when she chose the foreigners in order to reject the familia. But she knows that they also represent other things. Irene continues to drive for a long time. As the colors of dusk fill the sky, she dials a certain number on her terminal. Lavinia. Lavinia? It's me, Irene. I'm coming over to the courthouse right now. I need to talk to you. It's important. Please help me, lawyer. I need a lawyer. I need an adult. I need a lawyer. Give me just a second. So now ripresa. Right, I wonder, did the woman who died, was it her mom? Was that a thing? Did we hear that? That it's like her mom? Oh, well, well... Maybe she's not dead. She was just poisoned. I guess I didn't technically... Well, I mean, other than the fact that it's called the red wine murder. But maybe she survived? Anyway, unheard sound. What wonderful lighting. Compliments your emerald eyes. Oh, how lucky I am to have a girl with such beautiful eyes. Okay, I was... Mom, okay, no, she didn't say mom. Talk like I'm the one to bug out on stage, Paula. Yeah, you sure are lucky to have a daughter who can handle both performance and paperwork so brilliantly. Never mind, his daughter. Okay, why do you call your mom by their name? Are you adopted? Yes, yes. So, my good daughter, trust you'll handle tomorrow's meeting with a new shopping mall on the corner. Okay, they are like, yes, you are my mother. Yes, I am your daughter. You know, so that we know that, oh, right, okay, mom dead. I have some new pieces brewing in my mind. I'd like to put them to paper after the Red Wine Championship. Of course, Paula, leave it to me. Shoot it to the stage now. Your performance is about to begin. You're not part of the orchestra, I guess? I guess no. I guess she's just daughter. Oh, God. Fucking German words. Everyone will know of our Schwarz-Ervorhang Orchestra after today's performance, and I'm sure we'll be busy. Yeah, Schwarz-Ervorhang. Okay. Whatever that means. It's black something. Stage lights peek through the gap between the backstage curtains, outlining the Capernet's horns as she raises her baton. Is it just black curtain? Okay. Sure. Also, indeed, you know, totally not suspicious individual. No, a black veil or a black curtain. Yeah, okay, right. Well, yeah, like this person? She saw only a silhouette. Under the slanted cellar lamps, the reflections of the drinking glasses faded and reappeared as the figure moved. Liesel wanted to approach the figure. Perhaps they were lost and in need of directions. But she only took one step before the other turned in response and quickly moved past the shelves. As the two brushed shoulders, the light revealed towering horns atop a black hood. Horns? Capernet's horns? Also, right, yeah, no, she... Well, I get... Maybe she is adopted, because, like, you know, she ain't got the usual Capernet horns. Well, like, where are her horns? She has no horns. She just has the floppy goat ears. Now that, look at it. Also, I guess she has a little family of little plushies. Or is she a... I'm assuming those are goat. Those look like goat horns. Goat horns? Ears. Like the big floppy goat ears. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Now she dies. Poisoning. Ah. Okay, probably last two are actually then dealing with the poisoning. The blinding stage lights shine down on the floor where Paula, it should be Paula, fell, the spilled wine pooling glaringly like fresh blood. Her mother's lips, which were smiling and praising her, are now dyed a shade of ominous wine red. The bright lights caused Liesel's vision to blur, yet Paula's lifeless eyes failed to capture any of it. Paula? Mama! Okay, now she says her mom. Now she just says mom. Instead of, you know. Liesel? Huh? I was just saying, well, we'll handle the partnership and payment according to the contract. I'm sure you understand. Sorry, I was distracted. Are you talking contract with her right? Her mom just died. Or at the very least, it's in the hospital. No worries, I understand you're trying to keep the orchestra together after such a huge blow. It must be difficult. Again, I'm so sorry for what happened to Frau Paula. She has lost a beautiful and talented artist. No, she's just fucking dead. You are not that... Let her little girl! Okay, first of all, okay, it is adopted daughter, but I myself am grieving the tremendous loss. Can't imagine how our adopted daughter must feel. What the fuck? She's being made to work right away? Shouldn't someone else be taking over the orchestra, not the kid? I guess she might not be a kid, but I appreciate your sympathy. Hope you bounce back quickly. I prepared some condolence gifts for your group. You can share them later. This guy has zero fucking sympathy in reality. You shouldn't have. We aren't to simply be working with you. So about the performance fee. Don't worry about it. We won't claw back the deposit. As I was about to say, we have decided to not continue our cooperation. Hope your group can find solace and weather this difficult time. Okay, but also by the I know you just like lost you lost your mom and the orchestra lost their leader. Also, we're not gonna renew the contract, so you're like giga fuck. But like, you know, hey, business is business. Wait, you're not renewing the contract? Yes, without a dazzling pearl like Frau Paula, your orchestra has lost its backbone. I fear the standard of your performances will not return to its original level anytime soon. Oh, the Kazimierzians, man. After all, we are a business, not a charity. Sorry, was that too blunt of me? Then what about our performances scheduled for the next 2 days? Cancelled, of course. The original plan was to let our guests enjoy your music accompanying their wine tasting. But now City Hall has closed the theater for an investigation of this incident, so there's no way to continue the competition. I mean, okay, that part is kind of fair, maybe. I feel like actually the contract should still be like, hey, okay, we still gotta pay him out, but you know. I'm suffering a terrible loss too, you know. What about the fees for the previous performances? Our Red Wine Championship warm-up performances were perfectly fine, popular even. Our contract clearly states, in the events that force majeure leads to the termination of or cancellation of a performance, the clan is not obliged to pay the corresponding fee. They didn't read the fucking contract again! Never mind, he's catching up. He's 15 minutes behind. The whole thing is about contracts, man. This isn't about wine or murder, it's all about contracts. This is a Kazimierz event, not a Syracuse event. In other words, we pay the balance only after all the performances have been properly performed. Perhaps your grief caused you to forget this clause? No, that is not. No one wanted for this to happen. It's a terrible loss for us as well, so I hope you and your orchestra can empathize. I hope you can emphasize. Please emphasize with us our business ventures. Oh, we've hit a minor snag in business. Ow. Ow. I know your mom died or whatnot, and you're like, fucked, you're in the country and you're not getting any money. You've already put, like, you know, done most of your job, but, you know, we're not gonna pay you anything. But, like, oh, our business. If there's anything we can also can help with, just let us know and we'll try our best to assist. For a fee! For a fee, of course. For a contract, we shall assist. I understand. If you ever need our service in the future, just let me know. Of course, of course. But I must ask, will your group be alright performing without Frau Paula? You need to remember, read the contract. Liesel, you're finally back. Really called Timpani? Okay. Timpani pulls Liesel onto the sofa in the middle of the rehearsal room, then sits down next to her, awkwardly patting her shoulder. His back is straight, but his bloodshot eyes betrays effort to remain chipper. That Sarak's stubborn one. Didn't think he'd insist on us discussing the contract with you just because your mother's signature was on it. We already told him to come to us. You just suffered such a tragic loss. How could he talk business with you right now? Right, he has no clue how close you two were. You know, we can tell at a glance how long you spent sobbing last night. Don't say that! Just stay put here, Liesel. Not falling over past 2 days. Let us old timers handle rest. Okay, exactly. Okay, so they went out of their way to have the fucking contract negotiations with, you know, the daughter instead of someone who would actually be maybe better suited to have the negotiations, someone more involved in the actual business of the orchestra. Just look at your hands, all wrinkly and callous from doing the cleaning and chores all by yourself just to save money. Huh? No, I'm fine. Actually, I'd rather you all not worry yourselves over this. Just concentrate on rehearsal. Right, so what did you say about our future performances? Same as usual, or are we doing something new? About that. But Paula didn't finish her new piece. About that. Our future performances are all cancelled. Czerek also says you only get the balance payment after all the performances are done, but now... What? That verdammt Kazimierzen Scheißkerl! Hey, Timpani. Trombone. Oh, okay. She's called... I didn't even notice that she was called trombone. Just named after instruments directly. Trombone stops Timpani from continuing his onslaught of expletives with a tiny pinch and gestures with her eyes for him to show some consideration to the girl on the sofa. Sorry, Liesel, I wasn't mad at you, don't worry. Damn that Czerek, bullying a girl. Has he no heart? We won championship in it just a while ago. You haven't even had a chance to recover, and he lays this on you? Liesel, you should go to bed. You haven't gotten a wink of sleep since yesterday. It's so clear how there's like no contract regulations or lawyers out there. Like there's no like standard contract, clauses. These Kazimierzens are just like going out of their way to make these contracts like as predatory as possible. There's no regulatory body being like, oh yeah, hey, this is fucking illegal. You can't do that shit. Like no. What do you? No, you can't fucking make force majeure and mean like, oh, I don't have to pay out anything because you skipped one of 25 shows because the fucking venue exploded. No, you can't do that. That's illegal. No one is here to be like, you can't fucking do that. They just fucking roam around free, do whatever the fuck. I left a cup of hot system milk in your room, so have some... Alright, oh no, it might be cold by now. Why did I go warm it up for you? Liesel opens her mouth to answer, but nothing comes out as she notices everyone's red eyes and tired expressions. She manages nothing and ultimately shakes her head weakly, refusing Trombone's offer as she gets up to leave. In the hallway outside the room, she leans against the wall, listening to the vague murmurs from inside. What do we do now? Okay, they're all just named after their instruments, I guess. Paula's gone and so is our performance fee. We're counting on this championship to get our name out there and secure new gigs, but now it's going to be nearly impossible. I need cash to rent our rehearsal space, for instrument maintenance, and for food, and food isn't free either. What? Food isn't free? Paula didn't have much saved. She shared whatever she had with us, but... Let's pull what we have. I think we can manage another 10 to 15 days or so. We'll conduct us now that Paula's gone. We're going to perform without her. How did she even... That Bellona Lupo. Why did he hurt our Paula? I don't think it just makes no sense. What does this mafia have to do with us? And let's be real, it's probably the fucking Kazimierzians. It's probably the fucking Polish people. Maybe they thought she was in someone's way? Did we break one of their rules by taking gigs here? Who knows? The Syracuse gangsters are a ruthless bunch. City Hall says investigations are ongoing, but who knows if they'll actually go anywhere? What can everyone hope for? The city's still Syracuse after all. I think they're just pretending to exercise the law. Personally, I think we should never forget what the Bellonas did to Paula. They really are. They just think it's, they're just like, oh yeah, for sure, it was them, right? If I see one of them mobsters, my fist is going straight in their jaw. Don't be rash. If they could murder Paula just like that, I'm sure they could end our lives just as easily. They'll come from Lithuania. Could it be they're after Lithuanians? Surely not. If that's not it, I don't know how else to explain it. Why would they go after a woman as great as Paula? Had enough of the Syracuse mafia. Why don't we just leave for Victoria or somewhere even further? How's Columbia sound? I have to keep playing, but we can do odd jobs wherever to feed ourselves, just like we did before we met Paula. We should take Lisa with us. Of course, even if I only learn enough for a bowl of macaroni, you bet half of it's going to the girl. Do not starve on my watch. Liesel does not manage to make out what the rest say in response, nor does she have the will to listen further. She only feels her head spinning, her eyes stinging, her entire body heavy like lead. She only wants to fall into Paula's embrace. Not used to foreign exploitation. Certain countries' insurance companies are now considering any and all drone strikes to be force majeure. I mean, I think you could... Well, more like, it's actually, weirdly enough, it is correct to consider drone strikes force majeure. Because it's correct to consider war force majeure, I believe. So... Funnily enough, in a way, they're kind of, they're admitting that it's a war. What war? Huh? Liesl does not return to her own bed, and instead opens the door to Paula's room. Paula forgot to shut the window tight on the day of the championship, and the rain from last night had soaked the nearby stack of music sheets. And a day later, the paper remains wrinkled. Oh yeah, that's what happens to paper when it gets wet. You forgot to close the window again, huh? And I'd remind her every night. Plus everything else might as well be dust once she dove into her music. Paula. The tears she tried her best to hold back for the sake of the meeting with the Kazimierzian businessman and the orchestra now burst forth once more. Liesl gathers the sheets by the window, trying to smooth out the wrinkles on the paper, but even her fingers appear to be as blurry as the notes soaked by the rain. She knows how dreadful and silly she must look. Paula saw her like this, she'd join in the crying too. Paula had been accompanying Liesl to her parents' graves when they overheard a lady performing a foreign melody nearby. She cried the same way Liesl is crying right now. The trombone player was startled by the red-eyed Paula, but later became part of the family, just like bassoon and even timpani. Paula had been standing at the pier when she discovered timpani driving piles into the ground with a steel drill. They have a good sense of rhythm, she said, so why not join my orchestra as a timpani player? Liesl asked Paula before why someone as talented as her would leave Lithanian. Paula only tilted her head in response, then didn't fully understand herself. Why didn't her countrymen understand that she only wanted to perform the pieces she liked? Why couldn't they accept even that? These scores were her favorites. Right, she just wasn't playing the popular stuff. Pain on this metronome's flaking off. She must have brought it from Lithanian. Oh, so this earring was all the way in the back of this drawer. I was so sad when she thought she'd lost it. This costume has been altered so many times and still not finished. She said she'd wear it to the performance in 2 days. Liesl gently picks up the crimson dress, her fingers tracing the gold thread on the neckline. The fabric is somewhat old, with dye fading on its fraying edges, but the elaborate embroidery work is as brilliant as ever. What the fuck? Big yawn. The hell? What? Thought I was gonna sneeze and it turned into a yawn. Next to the dress hanger is a staff, standing in silence. Her staff. It's so much to teach me about art, so why... Is that her staff? Why did someone do that to you? The streetlights outside the window flicker to life, and passing headlights flash in and out of her vision, blurred by her overflowing tears. Light. A flash of light. Flash of light reflected off the drinking glass. Liesl's fingers freeze. A blurry fragment surges forth from her memories like ice on a lake suddenly cracking from all the suppressed water. The slender, hooded figure, half hidden behind a shelf, the spotlight shining down, illuminating the glass in his hand. Towering horns under the light. That's the man I thought was lost in the cellar. Right, yeah, that was the man, indeed. Yes, that's kind of right. The suspicious, But he's a Cabernet? It's no Bologna, no Lupo either. There's no way. What's going on? Our trombone says we have nothing to do with the Mafia. Could it be Bologna really has nothing to do with this? Or maybe he's not the murderer? Then why a Cabernet? Lisa looks up, her gaze fixed on the photo on the headboard of Paula's bed. A formal group photo of Schweizerwahang Orchestra after a performance. Other than a few Alafia, the other members, numbering a dozen or so, are all Cabernet. Once she joked to Paula, asking if she intended to recruit every Lithanian in Siracusa into the group, and Paula laughed, saying it would be wonderful. What if that person was no stranger but one of our players in disguise? No way, how could I suspect one of our own? But find the killer. To know who killed Paula. Paula, when you were teaching me arts, you said telling the truth can sometimes hurt. It's like a flame, warm and powerful. You always told me to never lie and do the right thing. That was while teaching arts for some reason. But what if doing it would scorch our family? Liesl bites her lip, trying to stop herself from voicing her thoughts, but they only remain stuck in her head. The exhaustion, shocks, pain, and fear from the past few days have squeezed her into a tiny ball, primed to blow. Her tears no longer flow. She only feels cold.
Oh my god!
Oh, thank you for the raid, Yandru. Welcome, raiders. We're reading the Italian event. How was your stream? Hello. We're in a murder mystery. Slovani? No. Yes, it is the more Italian event. Mamma mia, it's about wine and murder. And for some reason, Kazimierzian contracts. You came a bit after I was crashing out about Kazimierzian contracts. Insanely predatory. I wonder if Novosini is based on Naples. With the amount of car crashes, you'd think it would be. What's the furnace redeem do? It literally just burns your channel points. That's all it does. It does nothing else. It gives an offering to the furnace. The soul furnace thanks you, and that's it. You got scam. Well, I mean, you didn't redeem anything. I don't think. I don't see a redeem for any furnaces here. It's 50k, so like you can't exactly, you know. It's not a cheap one either. If I redeem it, I got scammed. If you redeem, no, it's not a scam. You know, no, it's not a scam. It's exactly what it says. It's an offering to the furnace. You know, the religious experience. If you go to Naples, they'll try to steal or murder you. And they'll crash a car into you. No, Novosini it's cool. They don't have any more mafia, right? Surely. I mean, funnily enough, they don't actually. Seemingly, they're kind of hinting that the murder was actually not done by the mafia. No more mafia? Allegedly. Allegedly. I have bad news for you. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe they're like a little bit. It's like a little bit in there, but maybe not. I'm talking about specifically the one in Arknights, not of Naples, by the way. I'm talking about Novosini. Where it's like, allegedly, no mafia, right? Surely. Totally. Yeah, okay. So I continue readings. Thank you for the raid. Just a few more days until that murderer has been sentenced, and we'll bring Liesel with us and leave this place. What's wrong? See that luxury hotel over there? Alone at businesses wherever we go. Speaking of. Yep, the problem, Andrew. Huh? You mean the priciest place? The one that's impossible to book is theirs too? Scheisse, they sure are raking in the cash. Rich men like them probably can buy themselves an acquittal, right? He didn't do it! He didn't do it! Take a little hydrate. Actually, kinda need to fill my water bowl. Gotta do every very dumb thing myself. Just you wait, I'll stab him a couple times someday. What the? How much? How angry? Enough. Did you hear what Trombone said? Besides, with that lame leg of yours, the cops would catch you right after you got your first stab in him. Then you just break Liesel's heart again. Well, maybe he's not the... If he has a lame leg, then he probably wasn't the guy sneaking around. Right. Can't let her suffer anymore. No, I still can't just let it be. Fine. Why don't we go outside and spit on the... Why didn't you go outside and spit on the ground? Just outside the hotel. Just go... No, that won't blow off enough steam. I need to get in a good punch or two. I'm a stubborn man in this orchestra. Fine, I'll come along. Let's just go punch the hotel walls. Like, yeah. Check. What? Timpani and Bassoon have been detained? Well, For getting into a conflict on Bellona property? No, I'm not Paula. No, nothing. Yes, I am Liesel Miminger. The phone number is correct. Alright, I'll come at once. They got fucking arrested. I mean, of course they did. But like... She's barely managed to drift off when a shrill ringtone interrupts her sleep. Liesel cannot decide if the caller's description of what happened or the resulting scene taking shape in her imagination is more devastating. Her heart pounds violently as she puts on a coat before heading outside. Perhaps because it is late at night, or maybe because of a murder just happened, she fails to find a cab for hire. In a moment of desperation, she starts sprinting towards the nearest police station. The night wind whispers to her like background noise leaking from an old stage. Liesel runs as fast as she can, even though her foggy thoughts only get noisier the more she tries to calm herself down. Did he actually go looking for Baloney Associates? Someone make a move? Did they do something for me? For Paula? The wind stings her eyes, but she runs even faster, her balance nearly slipping. Personally, I think we should never forget what the Ballones did to Paula. Flashback. Oh, there's no way. No, there is very much a way. If I ever see one of them mobsters, my face is going straight in their jaw. Timpani bassoon. Oh no, they wouldn't do such things. Liesel gasps for breath like a bellow is about to burst as the night wind slips into her arms, sending her into shivers. Put some clothes on, then. She notices a few passers-by ahead, looking at her as if they have spotted a lunatic. Just because she's running? She does not care. All she thinks is to go faster, faster. But the closer she gets to the police station, the more the grayish-white building seems to slowly press down on her like a huge, unfeeling stage curtain. Liesel slows down. She stands at the street corner and spots an officer smoking outside at the gate in front of the lit-up station entrance. For a second, she seems to want to turn and run. They do this thinking they had no other choice because I'm so useless? No, they were just mad. But they actually did something. What if one of them is a real culprit? What if I find the truth and it's an answer the orchestra or I can't bear to hear? She hates herself for doubting them. She hates how her first reaction upon hearing Familia Bellone and detained was not to defend them, but to freeze as she recalled those towering horns. What should I do? She did become real doubtful very quickly. Paula? Daughter of mine, our orchestra wouldn't be what it is today without you. I'm so thankful. Yes, I'll always be with you. The rest of the orchestra needs you too. There really was, like, instant death flags. So I guess we actually got them after the murder, kind of, but... Liesel, my girl, my pride and joy. Someday you will stand on the stage in my stead. Maybe she was being raised to take over the orchestra. No, not just for me. It has never been for me. One day you'll become the best conductor in Nuovo Vicini. No, all of Siracusa. The wind seems to have stopped. Liesel slowly but surely drags her heavy feet into the building. Is that a new prison CG? Maybe just to remember it. Well, that was Saluzzo's. Well, I guess this was just the generic mafia mob sprite. Oh, did the Saluzzos or the Bellones also get arrested? What is this? Mexican standoff. So you're saying Timpani didn't hit you and... struck these two Colombian businessmen instead? Gee, he missed? He just miffed? Ugh. That's right. Well, I got hit too, actually. But hey, old man, you got a bum leg, but your arm's back a punch. Damn straight, I'm a first-rate percussionist. You bet I'm good at hitting things. But the Colombian fat ass didn't trip and eat your second jab, huh? So here's the situation. We got a call about 4 troublemakers on the street, and then it turned into a fight between 6. After some questioning, we determined that these 2 Colombian gentlemen in the Bellone Aldor Hall Hotel were fighting with with the hotel staff. Staff had asked the Colombian men to step outside, but once they were on the street, the businessmen suddenly became violent. Meanwhile, these 2 members of the Schwarzweißenhang Orchestra tried to mediate the fight, but ended up involving themselves in the scuffle. Oh, they went into there looking for a fight, found quite literally a fight going on, and were instead like, wait, guys. This is the wrong fight. We wanted to fight, not you guys. Yep, it's all that fatso's fault. He's drunk and was harassing our receptionist. Harassing? Not at all. I was just paying a guest in the hotel when suddenly I took a hit. Mark my words, I'm not done with you just yet. Was just a paying guest in the hotel. Suddenly I took a hit. Huh? Haven't had enough? You were the ones who stumbled into this lobby drunk, yelling, "Why should I line up? Get me the biggest, most mafia-style room." Mafia style? What are you getting at? Throwing words like that around a legitimate business establishment. You scared of the guests who are trying to check in. You're acting like that's no big deal? Exactly. Even from the entrance, we clearly saw how you scared the receptionist to tears. Hey, sip it. No. Let him talk. Bassoon pinches Timpani hard, who yelps and looks up to see Liesel's ashen expression. I'm sorry, Liesel. You shouldn't have been called out here at this hour. All of us have you listed as our emergency contact. Paula told us to, so... Why her? It's my fault. I should have stopped him. Liesel, say something? The silence is scaring me. Okay, but also there's still the suspicious Cabernet that existed. So the two of you helped someone who didn't need your help in the first place? Huh? It seems to be the case, yeah? Liesel is rendered speechless as she looks at the both pairs of Bologna mobsters and Colombian businessmen. In the middle, Timpani and Bassoon are huddling in fear like foul beasts caught in the rain, their pitiful gazes aimed at Liesel. When was it? When was the last time I saw something so absurd? Okay, but there's still this part. Okay, all cool. These two probably clear. They're probably not suspicious. There's still a suspicious Cabernet. At the pier, faced with Paula's invitation, Timpani shook his head in confusion and ignored the two to resume his hammering. With his rhythmic hammering in the background, Liesel saw Paula suddenly straighten herself and her collar. I got this is flashback. Foreman, sir, I'd like to resign on this gentleman's behalf. What the fuck? You can't just do that. What the hell? From today onwards, he will no longer be able to hammer for you, for he'll join me in exploring the beautiful possibilities in the world of music. Now then, arrivederci, my good foreman. Huh? No, wait, what? Resign? Goodbye? Who said he could go? What, he can't? Of course not, it's day labor, but he's not even done yet. You want to take him away? It'll slow us down. Oh, I see. Is this enough then? Go find another master artisan like Timpani here, and you won't fall behind schedule. He just named her? She just named him at that point as well? But the foreman was clearly shocked by Paula's actions. Her words stunned Timpani. Behind Paula was Liesel, tugging on her mother's sleeve with an expression both amused and annoyed. Paula, that's supposed to feed us for a whole week. Huh? Really? Oh god, she's horrible. That's why the orchestra's not doing well. Paula was terrible with money. The child had to do all the accounting. Everyone stayed awkwardly still for a moment before the foreman quickly grabbed the florin from her, as if afraid she'd change her mind. Hey, you over there, go find another worker for me. The foreman turned to yell and left the trio, depriving Timpani of a chance to respond. What the fuck? Imagine you're Timpani in this situation and saying... Huh? I was fired and hired? I'm sorry, Liesel. Maybe you should manage the money from now on. Now, we three will busk on the street. I'm sure we can earn back enough for tonight's dinner. The fiery sunset clouds from that day come back to life inside Liesel's mind. Also, this implies indeed that they don't even have money to pay for Timpani. Like, it's not like Paula had the funds to, also actually hire Timpani to like, hey, I'll pay you for your, joining our band or whatever. No. We gotta go play on the streets to get some money. As he was in stable employment. The dumbfounded Timpani, the satisfied and smiling Paula, and her resigned self shaking her head were all bathed in a warm sunset glow in the shade of a beautiful future. Trying to justify it. No. I'm just pointing out there's a very silly situation. Wow, our whole family's so silly. Paula, Timpani, Bassoon, Trombone, everyone, even me. I'm the biggest fool of us all. How could I suspect my own family? There's no way anyone would do anything like that. Maybe she's right. None of them are smart enough to murder someone, especially poison someone. It's alright, Liesel. I did what I did and I'll pay the price, so don't worry your little head over this. Just a few days behind bars, probably. I'm used to skipping meals. What do you mean? You probably get fed in prison. Can you start a beat, Timpani? Any rhythm's fine, just one you like. What? Timpani's bold declaration to pay the price for his actions is interrupted by Liesel's sudden request. He exchanges a glance with Bassoon and even meets eyes with Bologna mobsters and Colombian businessmen. but the undeniable authority in her voice sends Timpani's hand involuntarily tapping on a metal bar. With his rhythmic tapping in the background, Liesl straightens her back as well as her collar, looking toward the Colombian businessman. Ahem. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Liesl, leader of the Schwarzervorhang Orchestra. We're the finest orchestra in all of Nuovo Cini, which I'm sure you can tell from the excellent live performance by my timpani player, yes? I should also mention we have a wonderful bassoon player in our midst, but I regret we do not have the equipment to offer a demonstration right now. Right, now the introductions are out of the way, firstly I would like to express my sincerest apologies for today's incident. I cannot make decisions on their behalf, but I will take responsibility for my group. It's an undeniable fact one of my men hit you, and I'm deeply sorry for it. You're a businessman from faraway Colombia, yes? The high-end Piazza Parasotto you've invested in is about to open in the city. I think you chose the city for a good reason, its potential, order, and future cultural atmosphere. Now, I'm not trying to excuse this unfortunate misunderstanding between your party and mine, but I'd like to offer something valuable in exchange for your forgiveness. A performance. She's a businesswoman. She's like... We're gonna promo ourselves. We, the Schwarzervorhang Orchestra, will provide a free and exclusive performance for the Piazza Parasotto's opening ceremony. Exclusive, you say? Yes, give us time and we'll be there, performing a complete lineup of classical pieces of theater-grade quality, lighting and stage control included. The conductor will be me, daughter of Paula Memminger. I will not fall short of her standards, for she personally trained me. I'm her pride. Even if you're not satisfied with our performance, you will gain some buzz from the public either way. Won't take a loss, even if you decide not to hire us again. But if you find us valuable, then I imagine you'd love to make Piazza Parasotto the very first high-end shopping mall with a resident orchestra. A shopping mall with a resident orchestra. Of course, all this is to make one thing clear. The city only has a single orchestra worth investing in, and that's us. They might have only a single orchestra, but you know. You know, boss, this sounds pretty good. It does seem like a good deal. Hold up, how about figuring out who's actually in the wrong? Well, this young lady has already taken the blame, so what else is there to discuss? It's not like we meant to cause a ruckus. What do you gentlemen think? Right, you'll arrange everything that needs arranging. We'll have your orchestra at the opening. However, we are a high-end mall after all. I do hope you won't disappoint. Of course. Next to the Colombian businessman, timpani and bassoon are still as statues. Only when the police officer waves them away do they both mutter something as if just jolted awake. Beezer, you were the spitting image of Paula back there. No, even more, how do I put it? More Paula than Paula ever was. By the way, still, she's like 1 day since her mom died. I'm my mama's daughter after all. Liesl Memminger, the Schwarzervorhang Orchestra. We are still so we are no closer to figuring out the murder? Maybe there was no poisoning. Maybe the wine was just that bad. Maybe the wine was just, like, nasty. In the dressing room backstage, Liesl is seated, surrounded by the joyful sound of her orchestra chatting. Next to her is a stack of slightly yellowed scores, Paula's untitled quartet, with some edits noted in the corners. Meanwhile, Paula's favorite composition has just won a standing ovation from the entire audience on the Colombian's magnificent stage. Liesl runs her hand over the slightly faded ink and stands up to face the orchestra. Well, she did bounce back. Thank you all for staying. I know these past few days have been difficult and stupid, but we held our concert, and we hold many more. By Paula's will, in the name of the Schwarzervorhang Orchestra. So, there is something I must tell you. The day of the incident, I saw Paula's murderer. I guess it's not confirmed that I was. I'll find him somehow, and the law will punish him. He wasn't a lupo, so probably not a bellone. It was a cabernet I saw. I guess, well, surely then we did indeed. Final note with Mr. Bellone himself. Mardine Nuovo. Surely we learn who the murderer was. Grazie infinite, Signor Bellone. I would have been such a loss had it not been for you and your familia. Oh, flashback. Whoa. Old Leontuzzo. Come now, Zoelio, I didn't do anything. Indeed, your name and presence were enough. Oh, it's all right. It's the old man. My landlord dropping by as you were visiting me was enough to make him reconsider collecting his rent on the spot. After you left, he quickly agreed to give me 2 more weeks. But I'll figure it out myself. Understand, Zoelio, what happened to your fruit stand? Oh, that sold it long ago. My little Emma had a fever this summer, and who would have thought it would leave her paralyzed? Ooh. Luckily, Demetri introduced me to a good doctor, said it was a serious yet common summer ailment for children. She might lose her legs if it wasn't treated. Just casually paralyzed. I guess not permanently? So I sold my fruit stand and pulled cash from relatives to pay part of the doctor's fees. The rest to be paid in installments. They don't have insurance. She's out of the woods now, at least. She has a slight limp, but she's otherwise healthy. As for the rent and bills, I'll figure it out. Your stand was on the corner. Demetri and I bought oranges from you when we were little. We've been neighbors for years. I could have lent you some money and you wouldn't have had to... No, Signor Bellone. It was a vast sum. I wouldn't dare accept such a favor from you. Besides, your money wouldn't keep me afloat forever. I owe rent every week. Every week? Now that I'm under Familia Bellone's protection, my landlord won't kick me out when I fail to pay. The bakery will sell me some food on credit. But now you're under Familia. But you never wanted to join the Familia. I said there was no need for civilians to join or involve themselves in Familia affairs. The most important thing was to work hard and live your best life. This old man was just naive. Familia is more than fighting and killing. I finally understand that. I mean, it is, but it doesn't mean that it's like a good idea. Don't worry, Signor Bellone. I may be old, but I know not to be ungrateful. The Bellones have helped me, so if you ever need a favor in turn, just call me and I'll be there. How old, Demetri? You did this on purpose, didn't you, Demetri? Calling. Right, it's a nickname. Just Demetri. I asked you the other day why I haven't seen his fruit stand, and you told me he went home for a relative's funeral. You knew Emma was gravely ill. When you suddenly invited me here for pizza the other day, you knew Zio Elliot would pass by and find me. You handled it expertly, Leon. Handled what? Tied right into your hands. If I had known sooner, you couldn't have done anything about it anyway. You couldn't have possibly known what sort of hardship he would face. Your assistance would have been limited. At least I could have prevented it from joining the Familia against his wishes. Only the Familia can help him now. Is that so? I beg to differ. What did this facade cost him, and how long will it even last? Should have had access to more work opportunities, while we, Syracuse, should guarantee them a livelihood through systemic measures. Relying on the Familia would address the root of the problem. Hope the lesson you've learned from this is not charity or consideration for others, Leon. You're the underboss. Someday you'll be the head of the Familia yourself. Competent Don knows offering timely help will earn you gratitude. They will owe you a favor and repay their debt someday. Sound heartless, Demetri. Why'd you even bother introducing a doctor to Zio Elio then? Shouldn't you have let me do it if you wanted me to learn to extract gratitude? You didn't know how ill Emma really was, and didn't know he would have no choice but to sell the fruit stand. You just wanted to help him. Nothing to do with the Familia. We can only do as much as we can, though. He's getting called out. Besides, old Elio's oranges were always the best. He clearly knows how to pick his suppliers. I guess he was getting called out for actually just wanting to be nice. This is a trivial matter compared to your available powers as the mayor. Please, bring that murderous mafioso who ruined my red wine championship to justice. Signor Cherek, Demetri, Bellone's trial is this afternoon, but for now he remains only a suspect. But who else could it have been? He sees me as a competitor and is not above dirty tricks. He kept my wine safely stored in the cellar and even arranged for professional security to guard them, only to somehow have them swapped with Saluzzos. Prime suspect was arrested at the party and only placed under house arrest. There have been plenty of people knocking on his door to visit, console, and even plot more nastiness. The whole city thinks I'm him innocent, while Saluzzo is raking in record profits. They probably... Because they've all probably had to deal with a fucking Kazimierzian trying to fuck them over with contracts. They're like, nah, bro. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Not as far as I can throw him, and that's a big guy. While I, poor old Radoslaw, have gained absolutely nothing after spending so much time and effort to organize an event here in the hopes of doing some business in this thriving new city. As far as I know, the Red Wine has been publishing articles about this murder case, and this has brought a lot of attention to your event. I understand you've already begun recruiting participants for your next Red Wine Championship, and there are even wine merchants from Colombia and Lithuania who have signaled an interest in participating. Funnily enough, even though someone died at the previous one. Indeed, but I should be enjoying greater gains than just those. Now I'm left trying to minimize my massive losses. Right, sure. Senior Chadek, we pledged to run the city fairly according to the new Urban Management Act, but our government will not serve as the interest of a lone businessman. Not you or anyone else. That's so. I hear you grew up with that Bellone boy and now he's even taken your family name. I'm no longer affiliated with Familia Bellone in any way. He's a member? No. Part of the purest Syracusan Familia. Even in his businessman costume, he's still most comfortable doing things mafia style. You need to present proper evidence before we can hold a formal trial. Of course we must follow due process, I'm aware. But my good mayor, I pray you don't forget this. Since the new Urban Management Act, many businessmen from Kazimierz, Lithuania and Colombia have come here to trade. And we, or at least the merchants under the KGCC's banner, are only here in Novosini and not in any other Syracusan city, because you have promised us the Familia do not exist here. They don't, on paper at least. The wine merchant leaves, but Leontut remains still for a long time. You seem exhausted. Did that wine merchant tie you up in his affairs again, or is it Demetri? He's convinced we won't have a fair trial and keeps bringing up his Chamber of Commerce to pressure me. So Lutzvina has indeed established itself in Novosini under Demetri's management, but remains a local enterprise and it's hard to judge if it can compare with the commercial capabilities of Chadek's Golden Prairie. I fear Chadek is founding Demetri not just because they're business competitors or for that championship incident. Demetri is merely an opportunity for Chadek and the Chamber of Commerce backing him. Most local merchants here do have ties to the Familia, big or small. And if his background becomes valid grounds for accusations of wrongdoing, the local industry will come under pressure. But we do need those foreign capitalists to trade here. They have to learn their modern ways of trade. We need their capital and goods. And the way they compete with each other is something we need. It'll make our local business iterate and evolve to keep up. I'm aware of all that. But Lavinia, our current situation is so far from what we originally envisioned. Yes, we planned for a city without Familia, run with fairness and justice, not favoring any particular party. But now Novosini has become an open gate to Syracuse, completely defenseless, free for any outsiders to enter, no matter their motives. That's why you gotta fucking put some... Where you're a fucking judge, you're a lawyer, where is your laws? Where is your contract law? How about you patch the loopholes? The first group is, of course, the Kazimierzians who exploit the loopholes in the new Urban Management Act. Well, fucking... why not? Get rid of the loopholes! The exclusive shelf display agreement that Chadek and his fellow merchants included in contracts has severely affected local industry. Various logistics contracts with high fines have also driven our local truckers into a corner. As Cyrene has informed me of the situation, it seems that the KGCC is trying to undermine our AST. Also, other departments have given feedback on how they've been showing signs of wanting to involve themselves in the energy and healthcare sectors as well. According to last month's reports from City Hall, many businesses in the service industry have shuttered, while the manufacturing industry is also struggling. Foreign-backed companies and shops have set up here, and they prefer to employ those from their own countries. It's like the job pool for locals will only shrink. Just fix all the problems and the problems are solved. Well, some of these seem like fairly like... I feel like they should just be kind of indeed like standard contract law, you know, where there's like, okay, you're making a contract in Novosini. Okay, here's some basics that gotta be in here. A contract that does not follow some of these basics is not valid. Like, no, you cannot make fucking full exclusivity agreements. There must be some kind of, you know, consideration. No, you cannot freaking just not pay anyone anything if they already did part of the job. Don't think I'm gonna catch up. I got a call now. I'm 40 minutes behind. Yeah, no, he's RIP. Cupid is RIP. We're on the last node. He's dead. Despite our best efforts, prices are still trending upwards. People are not doing so well. Well, if they can't, who's gonna be buying the stuff in Syracuse then if they can't afford it? Look, at now I'm wondering what the Kazimierzians are thinking. They come in here, they do business and whatnot, they raise prices a bunch, and then the locals can't afford it, but the locals are the ones who are there to buy the stuff? Well, maybe not, I don't know. There's the Kazimierzians and Colombians we must face, but also The Lithanians have come from all across Syracuse and even from their own country with all manner of motives. I think they just want to play music. Well, some of them at least. Yes, and before them, fairness and justice we seek remain necessary. I still believe in this. But if such a pursuit must be traded for the livelihood of our citizens, then those so-called virtues will only end up being superficial formalities. You're right. I've been mulling over it. Remember when I mentioned we might have to amend the new Urban Management Act? Yeah, that should be normal. Yeah, sometimes you gotta fucking make amendments. Like, yeah. We've made a revision. Want to look? She just had it ready? She had it fucking ready? Leontuzzo takes the draft from Lavinia. 2 thin sheets of paper that should take no time to go through, but Leontuzzo flips through them multiple times before he finally looks up. Impose tariffs on foreign goods. Oh no, Trump! Prevent foreign businesses from establishing a monopoly on key sectors like transportation, finance, and energy. Allow some factions with former familia ties to access to lower management roles. Do you need this part though? I feel like, yeah, just have the first parts, you know? Do you need this part, the first part? Issue franchise permits to familiar controlled corporations. Is not a bit overboard? So people may say we're regressing to the old Syracuse way, or that we're favoring the familia. I did propose change, but these amendments are difficult to accept. I understand your concerns, Leon. I know you, of all people, have to keep the familia out of the city. We still seek to counter the foreign capitalists with familia power. Leon, we all know Nuovosini's government and our authority over the city were granted at Signora Cecilia's pleasure. But in Syracuse, as it stands now, the only force capable of uniting everyone is still the familia. But what we can do is limit and prevent the familia from growing their power, ensure they do not succumb to infighting, and most importantly, keep them from infringing on civilian interests. It's not an easy decision to make. Truth be told, I think it's not the right time to submit this draft either. Most citizens enjoy the employment opportunities brought in by foreign companies, as well as their cheap and trendy imported goods. I thought you just said that they're not hiring the locals. Talk an Italian accent, please. I did earlier for a moment, because it was an extremely Italian old man. I can't do accents the whole time. I have to start. I can see the problem is that I have to click, you know, next, but I can only talk in Italian if I'm doing this. Also, I can never sound as Italian as certain super, you know? It just feels wrong if I can't sound that Italian. Even if the KGCC's ways inconvenience them compared to the trouble caused by the mob wars of the past, they will not think of it much a problem. Silence spreads throughout the office. Leontuzzo knows Lavinia is right, because he used to harbor such plans in his mind. But it's not so easy to make the decision. I get what you're trying to say. Just as Charek and the KGCC want this chance to put Demetri on trial, we also need an opportunity to convince ourselves and this entire city. Yes, and this chance may well come soon. Invited soon. Just to do the accent, for nothing else. The courtroom is packed, and the afternoon trial has clearly drawn a lot of attention. Sitting in the gallery are not only locals, but also the merchant Charek's Kazimierzian partners, and Lithanian orchestra, and even Colombian traders. All their attention is fixated on one Demetri Bellonen in the defendant's dock. Haven't seen this courtroom in a while. Because we didn't really have any courtroom scenes in Portatori, so... In accordance with the new Urban Management Act, the Nuovosini Criminal Court will commence with the trial of the defendant, Demetri Bellonen, on charges of the murder of Paula Memminger, case number 01452. Court is now in session. Like, guys, it's a trial? What about the, you know, like, I don't know, setting up... I feel like there's a couple steps, you know. I guess the legal system in Syracusano is strange. They just, like, instantly trial. He's a suspect, and he's just instantly, like, on full trial. I called Tommaso Esposito to the witness stand. That's Tommaso! Basic ass NPC. Discovery, standing, anything, you know? Signor Esposito, is it true you're a manager of Saluzzo Vino, in charge of the company's logistics? Yes. 2 weeks ago, one day before the Golden Prairie's Red Wine Championship, you called an individual by the name of Sam at Agenzia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti. You asked him to deliver 2 bottles of Saluzzo wine to the event venue. Yes, I was very busy. Completely forgot about sending some wines to the competition, although I fortunately remembered to do so the day before. Suffering from success, as it were. When this Sam was delivering the goods via motorcycle, he came upon a crashed truck driven by an AST colleague. Oh, I thought it was in a truck and not in a bike. Okay. Driven by an AST colleague, one John. Johnny was on a Golden Prairie job at the time. Coincidentally, John just happened to be delivering goods especially prepared by Golden Prairie for the competition finals, and you just happened to be there as well. The coincidence isn't that unusual, just goes to show how everyone loves doing things last minute. As for me, I was making my way over to the event venue to ensure my boss's instructions were being carried out properly, so I tagged along. At the scene of the accident, you helped Sam get John into the ambulance, and you helped handle the aftermath. Notably, you took those salutes of wines and placed them into the Golden Prairie box meant for the competition. The Golden Prairie guys said they'd find another driver, so I thought I'd save myself some trouble, since we're both delivering goods to the same destination. But I took the Golden Prairie wines out of their box. And so the wines that appeared to the judges under the Golden Prairie name were, in fact, from Saluzzo. That's their own carelessness. Then I had to look at the labels on the bottles to avoid that mistake. Am I wrong, Your Honor? I mean... yes, indeed. Like, just fucking look at the bottle. You're not serving them in the crate. No further questions. Also, you know, it's the judge doing the, you know, cross-checking and whatnot in the trial as well. I call Letizia Maroni to the witness stand. Who? Signora Maroni, you work at Nuovo Volsini's Police Academy as a toxicology expert and forensic pathologist. Not pathologist, pathologist. Responsible for the autopsy of the victim Paula Memminger, as well as the testing of the utensils and wine in the case. Yes? Please inform the court of your findings. Oh, an expert witness. Yes, Your Honor. The autopsy results show Paula Memminger died of cyanide poisoning. Ooh. Traces of cyanide were found on the wine glass she used, but not inside the Saluzzo wine bottle. In other words, the murderer applied cyanide only to the glass, rather than the Saluzzo wine itself. I can only say the current evidence supports that conclusion. That makes sense. Calling Liesel Memminger to the witness stand. The little Cabernet steps out from the crowd of musicians around her and slowly but resolutely walks toward the witness stand. Signorina Memminger, is it true that you are a member of the Schwarzerwer Hung Orchestra and the adopted daughter of the deceased Paul Memminger? Yes. On the day of the Red Wine Championship, you went to the cellar where all the competition wines were stored for an inspection. Yes. While you were there, you brushed past someone who was neither a security guard nor a member of any participating winery. Yes. Did you see what this individual did in the cellar? I saw him picking up a glass, but at the same time I only thought it a random, strange occurrence. No problems arose after he entered the cellar, so I assumed he was just a lost spectator. If I had known what he was doing, I would have stopped him, and Paula wouldn't have. Liesel's voice trembles slightly as her volume lowers gradually. She looks down, hunched over, but ultimately she straightens her back. My condolences. Did you get a clear look at his face? I only saw him for a moment, saw his face, but couldn't make it out clearly. Do you think you might recognize him? No, he dressed very plainly. Thinking back, I believe he was maybe trying to trick the security guards, impersonating one of our orchestra members. I don't know who he was, but there's one thing I do know. Definitely no perro or lupo you typically find in Syracuse. He had enormous Cabernet horns. Enormous, even. Murmurs rise in the courtroom, like ripples from throwing a stone into water. Lavinia continues her questions, and Liesel recounts in detail what her orchestra members were doing at the time, establishing their alibis. But no one cares for her words at this point. So Bologna didn't do it. I've been thinking it made no sense. He already won the championship after all. How would he get by killing the conductor? What if there's something else we still don't know? Also, couldn't he have just simply hired a Cabernet to do the deed? He's made of sabotage our wineries. He's been obviously after us, disrupting our perfectly legitimate business operations. Perfectly legitimate, but morally corrupt. Silence. Order in the court. I call Elio Fabri to the witness stand. The old man, who doesn't look old. Lentuzzo is shocked to see his old acquaintance in court. He doesn't know why old Elio would be here. He was not even aware that Elio had come to Nuovo Volsini. Signor Fabri, is it true you're an employee of Saluzzo Vino and responsible for procuring grapes for the company's production line? Yes, Your Honor. That was not an old man voice. 3 weeks ago, you reached out to Verdi Winery to discuss procuring raw materials for Saluzzo Vino. Even though Verdi Winery's business had been declining ever since the Kazimierzian winery set up shop, they always have the most aromatic grapes. Our company has a long-term cooperative agreement with Verdi to purchase any surplus material for their production lines cannot handle. The discussion was just part of my regular job. But during this meeting, you learned that Golden Prairie was about to buy out Verdi Winery. Yes. So you conspired with Nicola, a Verdi employee, to sabotage the winery's production facilities. Furthermore, you also sabotaged their water supply and drainage systems, causing Golden Prairie to incur substantial maintenance costs after their acquisition. Yes. This isn't even part of this. This isn't even related to the murder. This is a different trial. You must be aware that these actions constitute unfair competition and violate the New Urban Management Act. What was your motive? The owner of Saluzzavino, Demetri Bellona, compel you to do this? Did he intend to disrupt Golden Prairie's business operations? Elio does not answer immediately. The Kazimierzian businessman in the gallery is silent, his expression now relaxed. Meanwhile, Leontuzzo fails to make out Demetri's reaction from his calm demeanor in the defendant's dock. No one compelled me to do anything, Your Honor. Everything I did was on my own conscience, out of my concern as Nuovo Sinise, as a Syracusan. It's true Golden Prairie is a competitor of ours, and our rivalry means I know well the methods they use. They dump their goods here for cheap, pressuring our local wineries into a smaller corner of the market and then acquire them when they turn unsustainable. They don't run the businesses properly after buying them out, much less try to preserve their unique winemaking traditions. They fire all the old staff to increase profit and efficiency, pretend to operate normally for a while, then shut it all down, leaving the wines to waste away. Verdi's the fourth. Before them it was Triptych, Passati Hills, and the Drizzle. All those wineries suffered the same treatment. That's how Kazimierz works. They don't care about the effort we put into tending our grapes, nor for our lives and the memories carried out by the unique astringency in our traditional wines. All they want is to clear out their weaker competitors one by one, till they monopolize all the shelves of every store. And we'll ultimately lose any choice in the products we buy. When that happens, I doubt their prices will stay as low as they are now, even though apparently prices were going up. Well said, but that does not justify your use of illegal means. She agreed though. She was like, yeah, so true though. Fucking speak your truth, but also you still did shit illegal. I know what I done won't stop the Kazimierzians from trampling all over our wine and other industries. That went a little weirdly American, like Southern for a moment, though. I had to do something. I'll accept whatever punishment I deserve. Murmurs from the gallery only grow louder and louder. Lavinia raises the gavel in her hand, but hesitates for a while before she puts it down without striking the block. Your Honor, if you would allow me a few words. Speak. I believe the testimonies you've heard from the witnesses you've summoned are sufficient to prove I have no connection to the murder of Paula Memminger. Or Memminger. But Elio Fabri is indeed in my company's employ. I did not compel him myself, and he did engage in activities deemed illegal by the New Urban Management Act, targeting Golden Prairie. I believe his reasons for doing so are perfectly understandable, not just to me, but to every Nuovo Sinise sitting in the gallery right now. But a violation of the rules is a violation. I don't expect the court to make an exception for him. Though as his boss, I am willing to bear the punishment for his crime, be it a fine or a prison sentence. The murmurs are now so loud that even the gavel fails to silence the crowd. Reporters in the back rows leave to contact their newspapers. We still don't know the murderer, though! Lavinia announces the end of the trial, declaring the verdict to be given a later date following jury deliberations. What about the murder? I mean, I guess it's like, okay, I guess we may probably know who the murderer is. That is not caught, though. So I guess instead we dealt with the corporate sabotage element instead. Amidst the chaos, Leontuzzo catches Demetri looking at him. He watches as Demetri raises his hand, puts his index and middle fingers together, and gently points them towards Leontuzzo, then himself. He recognizes the action, a unique gesture they have both used since they were little to signal, catch you later for a chat. Leontuzzo does not respond. The murder is old news. Keep up with the times. Yes, we've confirmed with the team responsible for guarding the Bellona estate that Elio Fabi did not visit Demetri Bellona's residence following the murder of Paola Memminger. We have not monitored any calls between them either. In other words, he just spoke of his own accord at the courthouse. Seems to be the case, as far as we can tell. The jury has yet to reach a verdict, so we can only continue to watch the Bellona estate and keep Signor Fabri in custody for now. I'd like to speak with him in private. By all means. What do you mean by all means? I guess so. You can see, yeah, he's just in jail. Zio Elio. I didn't know you were in Nuovo Cini. Oh, Thought Senior Mayor and Judge Lavinia would come across my name while scrutinizing entry applications from Bologna Associates. I didn't notice. But why are you still with them? I thought. After Padre's death, Familia Bologna lost all the power it had. Should have left then. No, you never liked having to do things the mafioso way. Leave? I lost my fruit stand. Emma's fever left her with a lifelong need for medication. I've been struggling. If Don Demetri hadn't invited me to join his winery and source grapes for him, I don't know how I would have survived. Novel Senior provides job opportunities for everyone with the will to shape a future with their own hands. Is that so? Think small businesses can still survive under the Kazimierz merchants' heel? Your acts of sabotage. Familia used to do the same. The Familia's way of doing things, yes. They remind us, every citizen here, of our painful past. I do admit it was a shameful act, but fortunately, Judge Lavinia allowed me an opportunity to speak the truth in court. Lavinia was the one who arranged for you to be there? Yes. Sometimes we have no choice but to only do as much as we can, no?
Lavinia set it up so that they have justification for the revisions to the Management Act?
You asked me why I was still working for Don Demetri. It is because he still adheres to the old Familia creed. A pack of whelps grouping up to help each other can keep all of us from being devoured by a bigger beast. Heard your inauguration speech too. I could feel your passion. You asked how our neighboring nations would view us. Would they see us as a new possibility? But now I believe they do. This is a new venue to exploit us for their own gain. Yes, I work for the Don. But is it the Bologna business I care for and want to protect? No, it is our own industry. It is Don Demetri who gave us his opportunity to unite and stand against the great merchants.
The great merchants.
Congratulations on your not guilty verdict, Signor Bologna. Though, I thought you of all people would be most eager to see me behind bars. Just a misunderstanding. The trial at court clearly proved her innocence, and the entire city knows of your magnanimity. Let's put all the twists and turns that happened during the championship behind us. It is undeniable that your winery took the crown. Saluzzo now holds the title of #1 winery in all of Nuovo Cini. An enviable feat. Thanks to you as well. Bah! Surely you'll join the next iteration as well. Defending the crown would be a legendary achievement. Perhaps. But as you say, Saluzzo is now the #1 winery in the city. I'm afraid I no longer see the value in joining a so-called competition to increase the value of my products. Am I right?
Keeping the title would, be a retainment of value, or even a 2-time winner? Whoa, even more value.
Fair enough, but Elio Fabri damaging a winery's water systems under the ownership of Golden Prairie surely impacts you somehow. You said you'd pay his fine or even serve his time. Noble gesture, but you don't necessarily have to follow through. Trivially, a matter like that isn't worth a public prosecution in the first place. No one would have noticed the incident had I not filed the lawsuit in the first place. Senior Czarek, you can get straight to your point. What is your goal here? I don't think it's just to repair our working relationship with a tiny favor. I do appreciate frankness. Regardless of our backgrounds, we are both businessmen now, are we not? So, Signor Bologna, I'd like to discuss a deal with you. At Golden Prairie, invest in Saluzzo. Our strong alliance will surely sweep the Syracusan markets. And if, or when the time comes, our business empire will eventually expand beyond Syracuse and Kazimierz. Oh, is that so? Indeed, I know you currently do not lack for capital or production tech, and you have your reputation here. But you must be aware of the Kazimierz General Chamber of Commerce behind me. We work together our resources, like our comprehensive supply and logistics channels, and even the media channels we have ties with. All of that will be available to you. Surely a young, upstanding man like yourself doesn't want to stop at a single winery that doesn't even bear your name. Have you ever considered establishing a Bologna? No. A Demetri commercial empire? Intriguing. I didn't expect the trial's outcome to impact your company and judgment so much. It did indeed leave its mark on my wine business, but Golden Prairie still retains its price advantage. I'm thinking the KGCC was the impetus behind this effort to discuss a cooperative relationship. We are businessmen, Signor Bologna. We are naturally driven by the pursuit of maximum profit. It is normal for us to set aside our preferences when discussing a deal in our quest for the most beneficial result. As your employee said, this is how Kazimierz works. So think about it, young man. Don't be in such a rush to refuse me. Refuse? Do you think I would do that? Whoa, rain animation. I'm out of water. Lantuzzo arrives at Demetri's residence late at night. The rain that lasted all day is now reduced to a faint drizzle, gradually slowing to a stop. But his mood remains melancholic. Are we gonna learn the murder at any point, or...? Maybe not. Maybe it's actually just left open. Which is crazy if so. Security guards from City Hall who are still at this state lead him inside. He thought Demetri would have come out to meet him, but he's mistaken. Demetri is simply seated in a chair, the seat decided by old familiar custom to be the Don's, silently watching him. A dim light over his head obscures his expression. Don Tutso suddenly realizes it has been a long time since he's read any expression from Demetri's face. Here you are, after all. Yes, you asked me to come. I remember the gesture. At least he listened. Oh well. Not listen, but... Glass for each of us? I can mix a ginger fizz with apple juice you like as a base. But it's hard to find traditionally pressed apple juice in Novo Cini these days. But it's been a while since you've had any. Fortunately, I found someone to help me acquire it. I'm sure you didn't call me here to reminisce about the old days. You can lower your guard. When I arrived here, I think I spotted a Kazimierzian cars leaving. The boss of Golden Prairie. Czarek? What was he doing here? He wants to work with Salut Savino. I agreed. Why? Why? Is this not what you people at City Hall want? Bringing in foreign capital will help local businesses to thrive and evolve. This is how businesses here and even across Syracuse will gain access to a wider market. Czarek was here as an agent of the KGCC and they offered generous terms. I had no reason to refuse.
Demetri, did you read the contract? Did you read the contract, Demetri? Please tell me you read the contract.
Gonna lose my mind.
Did you read the contract?
Kazimierzian businessmen aren't as nice as you might think. You're worried for me. You managed to gain Saluzzo's assets with your particular methods, but this doesn't mean you will see the same results with the Kazimierzians. We can only try and see. Because I was wondering, he's probably going to try and instead exploit the Kazimierzians, you know? But also, still, does he know contract law? Also, City Hall will surely protect the interests of us local businesses, yes? I know an amendment to the New Urban Management Act sits on your desk, just missing your signature. How do you... Just some of those so-called underhanded familiar methods. We should always seek all the intelligence we can to make the most beneficial decisions. He also might have indeed known that, oh, they might be putting through the amendment soon. I believe I told you this long ago when I was grooming you to be the Don. Like, it is the correct terminology in this case, but still, grooming? Oh yeah, also indeed handling the KGCC. Like, the KGCC is a bit bigger than him. That amendment is just a draft. I might not even sign it. You're hesitating, I know. You just can't make up your mind. You fear the people would denounce you, that all your achievements will go to waste, that Novo Cini will return to the old familiar ways. Should I not be afraid? Too easy, going back to our familiar methods, while new sparks are so hard to start. All the familia outside the city are watching our every move. Give them one chance, I will be torn to shreds, never to recover. But you have more to worry about than just the familia. Besides the Kazimierzian and Colombian businessmen who exploit loopholes in the act, there are also Lithanians trying to expand their influence in the city. Did you know? I received some surprising news just before the competition. Someone was dashed here from the Lithanian border for the sole purpose of dispatching the exiled dissident, Paula Meminger. Lithanian's eternal grace forbids anyone from deeding from their movement, even outside Lithanian territory. What the fuck did Paula do? What, all this because she didn't want to play the same songs? What the hell? Then you use this to your advantage. I didn't fan the flames, I simply let it be. Fortunately, things turned out well. You also have a chance to amend the act. Is this not what City Hall has been waiting for this whole time? I believe Lavinia arranged that trial just for that. I do intend to limit foreign capital here, but that does not mean... Who else can you even rely on, if not as local businessmen? Regardless of whether or not we have familiar backgrounds, we are all at least complying with your city's rules. We can act as your insurance. Empty promises mean nothing to me. I know you're skeptical of the familia. But you should understand we started off as nothing but a band of whelps, powerless against the barons and chaos of Syracuse. We helped those around us, hoped the day might come when we could win something in return, to improve our lives. We Syracusans take care of our own. It's our tradition, what I've always done. After the Don's death, after you left, I took the Bellona's reins, because I cannot let the Familia lose their home. Just as you cannot let the Syracusans lose ground to foreigners from Casimirs, Lithania, and Columbia. Or am I wrong? You will do great things, Leon. One day you will actually be able to realize your dreams in Syracuse. I've always believed this. I heard this from you before, Demetri. I said back then you could be my right-hand man, offer remains even now, at City Hall. No, grazie. I really don't get along with Lavinia. And as you said before, there are things better suited for her and others only I can handle. Just like right now, some matters are for City Hall to carry out, while others are better for us to do. Your ideals alone cannot keep Nova Volsini alive. The city needs and must have the support of the old Familia. You sound so certain. You met Signora Cecilia. I'm sure you know well just how happy she is to meet young people with ideas. Your established rules will keep the Familia and Nova Volsini from running amok, while my ways will gather all the power and spirit of Syracuse. This will become new guns in order for this city, Leontuzzo. The German's not playing, no. As Leontuzzo leaves, Demetri extends a hand towards him. A signal of cooperation. Leontuzzo hesitates for a moment before stretching out a hand himself. They used to be close, no strangers to sharing hugs or laughter, but this formal handshake now is the first between them. At the conclusion of their handshake, Demetri returns to his chair. Then, just like Leontuzzo's father and every Syracusan Don, he disappears into the darkness. The rain is no more. The sky is surprisingly clear and tranquil. The amendment. Are you really okay with it, Lavinia? You used to want for a Syracuse without any trace of the Familia. Spent more than a decade under the Bellona's shadow, Leon. I don't mind waiting a little longer. And the same goes for me. But no, Yahweh.
No, that's the thing. No, it's even better. It's doomed, Yahweh, okay? It's even better. It's even spicier.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess indeed the murderer was actually just a fucking government official from Lithania. They shook... True, they did shook hands. They're now married. Okay, it's a very, I guess, you could, I guess, you know, indeed, going a little against, indeed, the sort of very, I guess, naivety of what in Portatori of, like, Nova Volsini, like, hey, you're not actually quite ready to, you know, fully ditch the concentrated power of the Familia. You need a little bit. You just, instead of trying to, you know, you can't go cold turkey of like, oh, let's just remove all of it right away. It should more so be like, let's like utilize them a little bit, but keep them under control, because we actually have a place where we have the power to keep them under control. What I did, Demetri had at the end, it was a bit vague. I think it's just, I can't remember exactly what he did with Saluzzo. Back in Portatori, how he like essentially took over Saluzzo completely. I mean, other than obviously that we got rid of Saluzzo, the guy. But I think it's just indeed trying to, you know, like, hey, you're gonna exploit me, I'm gonna exploit you type situation. Like, he knows that KGC is just gonna try to exploit them as much as they can, but he's like just making trying to set up the pieces so that he can then also just exploit them and hopefully exploit them more than they do him. Kind of deal, I think. You know, businessman. And also, you know, maybe does some of it with a little bit of familia, you know, energy. With a little bit of La Familia. Okay, dokie. How long did that take? That took about... actually, a bit over 3 hours. Or about 3 hours-ish for the read. Which is... yeah, that checks out for a story collection event. Approximately. Yeah, he's gonna need some luck. But also part of his plan was also indeed, oh, it just so happens that, you know, Novosini is also gonna like back us up as well. Like he's not kind of just on his own. It's kind of like, okay, the government is also gonna be backing us up a little bit. You know, he was like, I know the amendment is probably gonna go through. Like this whole setup, like this has all been set up. This was, you know, kind of a little bit of luck, you know, a little bit of maybe a little couple shoves slightly in some places, you know, being in the right place at the right time, letting him then to be in a very good position to make this deal with Kazimierz, with KGCC. Because he'll also have the backing of the government more, which, for example, the KGCC is not aware of, or at least not as well aware of, that they are indeed planning an amendment to limit how much damage the foreign companies can do. It was a surprisingly just like business story. I know there's like a murder that happens, but truly indeed that murder was just like, it was like a red herring. The murder was so like almost completely irrelevant to to most of what went on, to like the main chunk of the story. It was just like an indication of, oh, Lithuania is also like, you know, asserting some power by fucking sending in assassins to the country. So that's interesting. But yepers. Now Stronghold Protocol is tomorrow, first of all. It's not today yet. It's tomorrow. I believe Delver the Cryptic was today. Yeah, so plans for Friday, I think, is just going to end up being... Friday's going to be Enfield stuff, because on Friday there is the actual Enfield stream. There's the you know, dev stream. Which, is it a stream actually, or is it just an upload this time? I actually don't even remember what they said in the tweet for it. What did they say for it? But there is indeed, there's the Enfield functionally stream on Friday, and probably I'll try and watch it live. Probably try and watch it live, but then I'll like kind of only just watch it live, and then we'll like re-review it or properly review it maybe later in the day. When it's like normal stream time, because otherwise it's during kind of work hours. The actual stream happens during work hours, so I maybe can't just like log off of work for the rest of the day at that point yet. So we might just watch the stream, and then I'll come back later, a couple hours later, to like look at it more thoroughly. I think. Okay, what did I actually say in it? We will release the Arknights Enfield Dreamscape of the Wind and Snow version preview program on August 21. Okay, so it probably is a video. Yes, the video will provide a detailed look. Yeah, okay. So this one is indeed not a stream. It's like an uploaded video again. It doesn't have like the premiere stream or everything. I wish they still put it as a premiere. I really wish they still put it up as a premiere. But yeah, okay. It's just gonna be uploaded at, you know, the usual time. It just, you know, uploads at that point, but it's not an actual live. But we probably just then like watch it all the way through once it's uploaded. We just watch it through all the way once. It's probably under an hour. So like an hour-ish stream for watching the thing, and then look at it more later in the day. And then Saturday, also we can do like Delver on Friday if we want to later in the day as well, because the update is out. And then on Saturday, we can do Stronghold Gaming. Stronghold Gaming on PC, so true stress testing. If we get some silly runs, with like, you know, 4 people slapping a boss with 1 billion attack speed at the end or something. Also, yeah, the Stronghold really is back so early. Because there was literally a couple, like some days ago, maybe it was last week or some days ago, a thought simply crossed my mind where I was like, damn, I could do a little Stronghold. I wouldn't mind a little bit of Stronghold. And then it's, oh, new Stronghold. It's coming already. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Does this one also have a decent chunk of little changes and stuff? Is there still multiplayer on it? Because obviously, I guess that's kind of a fun... For stream specifically, it's quite fun to be able to do, you know, viewer Stronghold. Which means I'll have to set up the queue system again. The wheel. We can set up the wheel. I need to set up the wheel. Single player, multiplayer progress carryover now. Did they not previously? I thought they did. I'm fairly sure it did. Or what do you mean by progress? Because I assume you could clear in single or multiplayer for previous Stronghold. I don't think there was any requirement to do either, like both of them. Or maybe there was. Maybe you did have to clear multiplayer. I guess for the difficulties. Maybe it was. Never mind. Maybe it was. Okay, maybe it was like you had to do the difficulties. Okay. Okay, never mind. I guess I just didn't remember that it was that you had to unlock them, like unlock the difficulties at least. Okay, that's also nice because then you can like unlock, like maybe I'll do like the easy difficulty just solo so that I have more time to think and look at some of the new stuff. Do like the first run solo, unlock the next difficulty hopefully, and so on. Bunch of quality of life for solo and alliances are different. Obviously, yeah, it's good, you know, that we obviously get like new alliances and stuff so that it's not just doing the same thing as last time. Oh, you can pause. Okay, pausing solo runs is huge, yeah. Being able to actually pause solo runs is huge. Even you had a long timer on solo runs, but obviously if you actually had to leave for a moment, yeah, it was still fucked. It was like it wasn't long enough where you could actually just go and leave and do something, like just pause it and come back later. Well, the economy alliance has got nerfed apparently. Funny. Okay, but yeah, that is I was having a little like, ooh, I wouldn't mind a little bit of Stronghold again. So kind of coming at a somewhat perfect timing, a little bit at least. At least when it comes to what I'd like to do in Arknights, I guess. So at the same time, dude, IS6 still, it's the meme of the pool meme where it's like, oh, it's holding the kid up in the pool, and then below the surface there's like another kid who's drowning, and then at the bottom of the pool there's a fucking skeleton. You know? IS6 is at the bottom of the pool. Actually, no, but at the bottom of the pool is RA, and drowning is IS6. Yeah. IS6 deep dives. Brother, we haven't even done ending 4 and 5. RA is not even in the pool. Yeah. It's RA has decomposed fully and has actually just been taken away by the pool filters. You know? Actually just fully decomposed. Not even bones remain. But okay, yeah. So we'll be here on Friday for Enfield stuff, and then Saturday will be Stronghold Gaming. Under the pool. In the construction of the pool. Okay, thank you for coming, thank you for watching, thank you for chatting, thank you for lurking. Go to Discord if you want to. See you Friday! Bye-bye, goodbye. Look at those. The Pepe waves are kind of small, but... Bye-bye.